Chapter 2701, Everything is so strange. The red spider lilies severely weakened the warship's power. Combined with the frenzied devouring by the hell spirits, the warship became even more fragile. This Dao Zun realm magic weapon had now fallen below the Dao Zun level in power. Dao Zun Taifeng's expression turned extremely ugly. He tried several times to retrieve the warship, but to no avail. Finally, as the warship was about to plunge into the magma fire river, he decisively abandoned it and soared into the sky. Boom! More magma from the fire river surged out, transforming into massive hands that covered the sky and earth. Dao Zun Taifeng roared and drew a strange sword with a sun-shaped hilt. The sword's blade was spiral-shaped. With a slight shake, it immediately generated a powerful whirlwind. The whirlwind quickly grew larger, whistling as it tore the magma hands into pieces. Countless hell spirits rushed out from the shattered magma hands. Wearing flame armor and exuding Dao Zun realm aura, they charged towards Dao Zun Taifeng. Dao Zun Taifeng swung his sword, and numerous whirlwinds immediately engulfed the hell spirits. The flame armor on the hell spirits' bodies was torn to shreds by the howling whirlwinds. Without their armor, the hell spirits revealed their terrifying true forms. Like fierce ghosts, they interrupted the whirlwinds, biting them one by one with mad ferocity. They devoured everything, even the power of the Dao within the whirlwinds. Bite by bite, the power of the whirlwinds weakened sharply. Although they would be torn to pieces by the whirlwinds, they could always bite a few times before being destroyed. The most terrifying aspect was that the hell spirits feared no death. After perishing, they could quickly resurrect in the magma river. They came in endless waves, their numbers seemingly infinite. Dao Zun Taifeng's face changed drastically. In just a blink of an eye, his whirlwinds had been weakened by half. More hell spirits rushed over. As far as the eye could see, they were like an ocean with no end in sight. How can there be so many? Dao Zun Taifeng's face paled as he waved his sword again, conjuring more whirlwinds. Although the whirlwinds were strong and numerous, they could not withstand the countless hell spirits. This won't do. I must escape from here. Dao Zun Taifeng's eyes turned cold as he roared, "Explode!" The whirlwinds detonated on the spot, evolving into a world of wind. The wind howled, blowing away the hell spirits and sending them crashing to the ground. Dao Zun Taifeng seized the opportunity to soar into the sky. Suddenly, the 10 fireballs in the air shook, and countless flames fell from the sky like meteors, blasting him back down. Dao Zun Taifeng's eyes darkened as he produced another magic weapon. This magic weapon was a cloak. As he donned it, whistling winds suddenly swirled around him. The wind was like sharp blades, blowing away all the surrounding hell spirits and creating a clear area around him. Lin Moyu observed this and felt very satisfied with the transformed skeleton hell. The skeleton hell was now strong enough to force a 4th realm Dao Zun master to this point. If it were a 3rd realm Dao Zun cultivator, they would find it difficult to break through and would eventually be worn down. He glanced at the slowly rotating black mist beneath the gate of hell. The netherworld black pool had not yet revealed its power. If it progressed further, even 4th realm Dao Zun powerhouses might be strangled by the skeleton hell. Dao Zun Taifeng took a deep breath and glared at Lin Moyu. "I truly underestimated you, but your magic is far from enough to kill me." As he spoke, a green path appeared around Dao Zun Taifeng. His path belonged to wind, named the Path of Wind. It was unclear which branch of the wind path it was. The 3 spirits sect primarily practiced the paths of fire, water, and wind, with Dao Zun Taifeng specializing in the wind path. The true body of the Dao. Dao Zun Taifeng roared, employing the signature ability of the 4th realm of Dao Zun. The main difference between the 3rd and 4th realms lies in the Dao true body. Once the Dao true body is activated, part of the Dao's power can be mobilized, imbuing every move with great power. Lin Moyu observed Dao patterns emerging on Dao Zun Taifeng's body as the power of the Dao merged with them. At this moment, he seemed to be the incarnation of the heavenly Dao itself. Dao Zun Taifeng transformed into a Dao giant, rapidly growing to 1,000 meters in height. The Dao giant was enveloped in green wind. With a wave of his hand, gusts of wind became like knives, instantly slicing the entire skeleton hell into pieces. However, it did not completely collapse as before. As space twisted, the skeleton hell disappeared. Lin Moyu sensed that the skeleton hell had returned to his real world and was recovering rapidly. At the current recovery rate, it would be usable again in less than 10 minutes. This was the second change brought about by the metamorphosis. The faster recovery speed was actually a disguised enhancement of combat power. After destroying the skeleton hell, the giant form of Dao Zun Taifeng showed a sinister smile. Boy, let's see what else you can do. Lin Moyu responded with a chuckle and casually snapped his fingers. The space around him twisted, and Dao Zun giant sword appeared beside him. Dao Zun Taifeng sensed Dao Zun giant sword's aura, and his face suddenly changed. Dao Zun sixth realm. Lin Moyu nodded gently. Good eye. Dao Zun Taifeng suddenly spread a pair of green wings behind him, turned on the spot, and flew away. At this moment, he dared not look back, focused solely on escape. The great Tao of Wind granted him amazing speed. Regardless of the cost, he traveled tens of thousands of miles in an instant. Dao Zun giant sword's body emerged, and majestic sword energy was unleashed. He also summoned the true body of the great Tao, transforming into a giant sword. The giant sword flew out with a whoosh, breaking space wherever it passed, catching up to Dao Zun Taifeng in mere moments. A terrifying sword appeared in the sky. The power of Dao Zun giant sword swept across tens of thousands of miles, shaking the entire world. Lin Moyu marveled at Dao Zun giant sword's fighting prowess. If he had not sealed himself for many years, he could only have sublimated in a short time. And if his opponent had been the more powerful Jiyu Hanyu, it would have been difficult for him to stop him. At least the second Dao Immortal pill was 857 at that time, which would have affected the destruction of the hell fragments this time. Everything was so strange, one link after another, making it difficult to unravel. After a while, Dao Zun giant sword returned, an invisible force pulling two objects behind him. A corpse and a head. Dao Zun Taifeng was dead, his head and body separated, and his soul annihilated. But this was not a problem for Lin Moyu. A ball of immortal flame emerged and fell upon Dao Zun Taifeng. Dao Zun Taifeng's body was quickly reborn, the head automatically flying to the corpse's flesh and blood grew to reconnect them. Soul energy was reborn in the body, and Dao Master Taifeng, who had just died, was resurrected in the blink of an eye. He knelt before Lin Moyu with piety, bowing his head to the ground, and said respectfully, Master. Lin Moyu waved his hand. Hand over all the property on your person, then go to the front to stand guard. Don't let anyone disturb me. Yes, sir. Dao Master Taifeng immediately obeyed, handing over all his possessions to Lin Moyu before flying back to where he came from, joining the dragon riders in guarding the area. Dao Master Giant Sword and Zhao Dongsheng were too eye-catching. Having Dao Master Taifeng on guard was neither too much nor too little, just right. A sharp cry pierced the air as a beam of light rose from the ground and shot skyward. The aura of a Dao Master spread through the air as the larger spirit beard insect beast finally completed its transformation, promoting to Dao Master. The shell left behind after its transformation appeared on the ground, gradually evolving into an origin spirit vein. Chapter 2702, 2702. Chapter 2702. The origin of spiritual veins is promoted, and the soul is promoted to Dao Zun. The shed shell soon transformed into an origin spirit vein. According to Xiao San's appraisal, this origin spirit vein had reached the 5th grade upper level. This new origin spirit vein was sufficient to upgrade the existing 6th grade origin spirit vein. As long as the 6th grade origin spirit vein devours this 5th grade upper grade origin spirit vein, there is a high probability it will be promoted to a 7th grade origin spirit vein. The possibility of failure is extremely low. To be on the safe side, Lin Moyu decided to wait a little longer. The two spirit beard insect beasts looked at Lin Moyu eagerly and squeaked, resembling children asking for treats. They had already grown reliant on Lin Moyu. During their time with him, they had consumed the highest quality origin crystals, ranging from 4th to 7th grade. Lin Moyu sent them back to the real world and threw a pile of origin crystals to them. The two spirit beasts were extremely happy, squeaking non-stop, and no longer had the backbone of spirit beasts, behaving more like kittens. Xiao San looked at them in disappointment. What are you doing? Where is your backbone as origin spirit beasts? The only response was more squeaks, as if saying, can backbone be eaten? Xiao San, even more shameless than Lin Moyu, replied, it really can't be eaten. Good job, keep going, I'm rooting for you. As the moon and sun alternated, the power of the moon illuminated the world. With the blessing of the moon's power, Lin Moyu felt a sense of lightness. The moon's power granted him great luck, stronger than usual. With Xiao Wu strengthening his luck, Lin Moyu was once again in a state of great fortune. If he still failed under these circumstances, he could only admit defeat, and the 6th level origin spirit vein would be deemed useless. He descended into the earth, reached the core of the origin spirit vein, and sent the 5th grade origin spirit vein into it. With a move of consciousness, he controlled the core to start devouring the 5th grade origin spirit vein. The entire spirit vein shook violently, and powerful forces surged. Devouring the 5th grade origin spirit vein greatly enhanced its power. As the owner, Lin Moyu felt this deeply. Waves of origin aura rose from the earth and spread along the complex veins. At this moment, Lin Moyu realized the vastness of this origin spirit vein. It far exceeded his imagination, covering at least 1,000,000 miles, and its area was still expanding. Wherever it passed, the earth stabilized. The previously chaotic terrain became stable, and the luck of the land was fortified. Lin Moyu frowned slightly. It's causing quite a commotion. It will probably attract attention. The area of millions of miles involved not only spirit beasts but also other races, including various branches of the demon race, human forces, and even the insect race. But now, Lin Moyu had no choice but to let nature take its course. He had only completed the initial refining of the origin spirit vein and couldn't control its growth direction. The origin spirit vein grew stronger, and the origin power it emitted became more potent. Where Lin Moyu stood, the origin power was already outrageously strong, forming a faint aura. Lin Moyu felt that the origin spirit vein had reached a critical point, as if it would break through at any moment. Whether it could be achieved depended on this time. The promotion of a 6th grade origin spirit vein to a 7th grade origin spirit vein was a rare event. Few cultivators had witnessed the ascension of an origin spirit vein. It was lucky to see it, let alone stand at the core and experience its advancement firsthand. Breakthrough, Lin Moyu growled internally. At this moment, he was actually a little nervous. He knew very well that whether the origin spirit vein could break through would have a great impact on him and his future actions. Boom! A deafening sound echoed in his soul, and an indescribable force surged from the origin spirit vein into his soul. Instantly, his soul felt as comfortable as entering a hot spring, and his soul realm rapidly improved. The soul fire burned brightly, and his entire soul shone dazzlingly. This was the true essence of the origin spirit vein, appearing only during promotion and enjoyed solely by its owner. Lin Moyu's soul realm continued to improve, and he felt as if he were floating in the air, entering a wonderful state. The entire origin spirit vein was clearly displayed before him. He saw every detail, every branch, and every corner, imprinted in his soul, never to be forgotten. Lin Moyu had an illusion at this moment, as if he had completely controlled the entire origin spirit vein. With a mere thought, he could reach any corner of the heavenly origin spirit vein. The entire origin spirit vein was circular, reaching 1,000,000 kilometers at its farthest point, forming a huge area with a diameter of up to 2,000,000 kilometers. There were mountains, waters, cities, and various strongholds within this area. Many creatures lived inside, including humans, monsters, and plant creatures from the Bayakao Alliance. Through the origin spirit vein's tentacles, Lin Moyu could sense the changes in these creatures. Some were panicked, while others showed joy, seemingly happy to discover the origin spirit vein. No matter the emotion, Lin Moyu could sense it. He felt that with control over the origin spirit vein, he could collapse cities with a slight shake. Is this absolute control? Lin Moyu wondered. No wonder top forces have such strong control over their dependent forces. This is the reason. Controlling the origin spirit vein is equivalent to controlling the life and death of these forces. Lin Moyu seemed to have realized something and understood a lot. The origin spirit veins of Nanzhou had their own masters. Without an origin spirit vein, one couldn't become the strongest or think about seizing territory from various forces. They had been operating for millions of years, making it difficult for latecomers to seize control. In that case, I will develop well in Dongzhou and see how far I can go. Lin Moyu's belief was extremely firm. This origin spirit vein was the foundation of his rise. Bang! With a light sound, Lin Moyu suddenly looked up and saw 3 avenues: immortality, time, and space. The 3 avenues emerged simultaneously, and he saw his soul again. A Dao pattern appeared on the chest of his soul. The Dao pattern was exquisite and complex, seemingly interpreting a certain truth. The soul has entered the realm of Dao Zun. But why does the Dao pattern appear in the soul? Chapter 2703, 2703. Chapter 2703. Setting up the teleportation array, the initial establishment of the force. Lin Moyu was not surprised that his soul had been promoted to the Daozun realm. His soul had already been at the high-level Tianzun stage, just one step away from reaching the peak of Tianzun, and close to Daozun. It was normal for his soul to advance to the Daozun realm after being nourished by the essence of the origin spirit vein during its promotion. However, it was unusual for Dao patterns to appear in his soul. According to his understanding, Dao patterns typically manifested in the flesh, bones, and blood between the 1st and 6th Daozun realms. Only when one reached the 7th Daozun realm and above would Dao patterns appear in the soul. Currently, his cultivation level was still at the mid-level Tianzun. With the nourishment of the origin spirit vein's essence, he had taken another step forward, now just one step away from high-level Tianzun. Even if his soul realm reached the Daozun realm, it was still unusual for Dao patterns to appear. Lin Moyu pondered this anomaly. There are no Dao patterns on my body, but they appear in my soul. I really can't understand it. Reflecting further, he realized that many aspects of himself were inexplicable. The giant power lich, despite being at the Tianzun realm, could attract the Dao true body, which was extraordinary and could only unleash the power of the Tianzun realm. The Buddhist country lich had a similar situation. Given these oddities, his current situation seemed acceptable. If I don't understand it, I won't dwell on it. Maybe when I reach that realm, I'll truly understand everything. Lin Moyu decided to stop overthinking. At that moment, his soul vibrated, and he sensed someone following the origin spirit vein to find its source. If you want to find the source, dream on. This is not an ownerless thing. Lin Moyu's soul controlled the core of the origin spirit vein. It burst out with powerful force, instantly shaking the cultivator seeking the source out of the earth. The power of the 7th level origin spirit vein was so immense that ordinary Daozun masters couldn't withstand it. The shaken cultivators were horrified, realizing the origin spirit vein had an owner. They now faced two choices: move away from the origin spirit vein or stay and practice with it, despite the discomfort of living under someone else's control. Alternatively, they could continue searching for the source, hoping to kill its owner and claim the vein, though this was difficult due to the vast and complex terrain. Lin Moyu didn't concern himself with their decisions. He controlled the origin spirit vein, driving everyone away and preventing anyone from approaching its entity. Next, we have to do the real work. He took a deep breath and sank his consciousness into the real world. He asked the human emperor, "Emperor, how is the design going?" The human emperor responded, "It's almost done. I've discussed with Hao Zhijun and others to build it in the pattern of the God City. The areas of various sizes are reduced in proportion, unnecessary parts are omitted, and only the essential parts are left." Lin Moyu asked, "How many days will it take?" The human emperor replied, "It depends on your arrangement, Lord. I have two plans. The first plan is to build in the real world and then move it out as a whole. The second plan is to build directly in the origin continent. The first plan will take about 5 days, and the second plan will take an additional day." Lin Moyu considered, the origin continent is different from the real world. The construction process is actually an adaptation process. I prefer the second plan. Also, the first batch of people will be fewer, so let Hao Zhijun and others come out first. I will set up the teleportation array here. The human emperor had no objections and completely followed Lin Moyu's arrangements. Over the years, everything Lin Moyu did was carefully considered and almost never missed. Even the human emperor, skilled in calculations, felt that his pattern was not as good as Lin Moyu's. After discussing with the human emperor, Lin Moyu began to make the final arrangements. To establish his own power, a large number of people were needed to form a team, and these people would come from the real world. There were 2 ways to let them leave the real world. One was for Lin Moyu to personally let them out, but this required his direct involvement, which was impractical given his other responsibilities. The second method was to use the origin spirit vein as a coordinate to arrange a teleportation array, connecting the real world with the origin spirit vein. This way, no matter what he was doing or where he went, he could use the teleportation array to travel between the origin continent and the real world. Many leaders of forces used this method. Lin Moyu controlled the origin spirit vein, merged part of it with the real world, established coordinates, and arranged the teleportation array. Following his will, the origin spirit vein vibrated slightly, and one of its branches penetrated the void, using Lin Moyu's soul power as a bridge to connect with his real world. With Lin Moyu's current array attainments, arranging the teleportation array was not difficult. "In my name, set up the array." He commanded. The power of the world gathered mightily. As the master of the world, with just a thought, a large number of laws automatically gathered to form the prototype of the array. Lin Moyu used origin crystals as the array base, supplemented by a large number of runes, making the teleportation array extremely strong and powerful. The location of the teleportation array avoided the part of the origin spirit vein that was polluted and changed. That part was Lin Moyu's private territory, and no one was allowed to approach it. To be safe, Lin Moyu personally arranged a new array to shield this part of the origin spirit vein, adding extra security. After everything was done, Lin Moyu planned the area again. Some areas were designated as his private land. As the master of the realm, he had this right. Due to the previous war, a huge valley with a depth of 10,000 miles had formed, sufficient for people like Hu to live. Finally, Lin Moyu took out a technological magic weapon from the Lufeng Chamber of Commerce. After activating the technological magic weapon, Lin Moyu returned to the Rule World. Human Emperor, I am ready. The Human Emperor responded, we are also ready and on standby at any time. Lin Moyu nodded, and his consciousness moved, gathering immense forces to form a special teleportation array. This teleportation array was not large in scale but was always open and specially made for human enjoyment. Master of the realm, what are you doing? The Human Emperor asked, puzzled. Lin Moyu replied, send your consciousness over and take a look. Chapter 2704, 2704. Chapter 2704, Lin Moyu's words come from the bottom of his heart. The Human Emperor probed his consciousness and connected directly to the technological magic weapon that Lin Moyu had placed on the origin continent. The teleportation array was positioned very accurately, allowing the Human Emperor's consciousness to pass through without any obstacles. Lin Moyu smiled and asked, how does it feel? The Human Emperor, surprised, replied, this feeling is wonderful. I seem to have an avatar, not the kind evolved from the law, but a real avatar. Through this magic weapon, combined with the teleportation array specially customized by Lin Moyu, the Human Emperor could manage the forces in the origin continent just like he managed those in the Rule World. All affairs in the Rule World had long been on track, and the Human Emperor was fully capable of handling both worlds simultaneously. Lin Moyu said, the technological magic weapon I placed in the origin continent is almost the same type as your original body, and they can be connected to each other. With this teleportation array, you can manage the situation in two worlds at the same time. With your ability, I believe it will be no problem. As for the method to help you become human again, I am still looking for it. Give me some time. The main body of the Human Emperor shook for a moment, seemingly moved. After a moment, he said, thank you, Lord. After parasitizing on the technological magic weapon, the emotions of the Human Emperor had become simple and direct, and he would not say anything polite. Lin Moyu smiled, no need to thank me, this is what we owe you. Without your efforts, we would not be here now. Let's go. I have already arranged the teleportation array outside the God City. I am going to send the first batch of people to the origin continent. The Human Emperor said, Hao Zhejun and the others are ready and can set off at any time. Outside the God City, a teleportation array appeared in the starry sky. The teleportation array exuded an aura completely different from this world. It was the aura of the origin crystal and the origin spirit vein. Lin Moyu used 108 7th level exquisite origin crystals as the array base, and the origin spirit vein provided the power and coordinates required for teleportation. Thus, the teleportation array would never run out of power. Supreme Hao, Supreme Tian, Supreme Zan, Supreme Jian, Supreme Sha, and Supreme Fu came to the teleportation array together. They knew they were about to go to the origin continent, and they all unconsciously showed some excitement on their faces. The origin continent, a real world more powerful than the Rule World. These supreme beings were already top existences in the Rule World, but in the origin continent, they were insignificant. The six were not afraid of challenges. They were born during a time of crisis for the human race. At that time, the God Road was disconnected, and resources were scarce. They had walked step by step to the present. It was just because they took the wrong road at the beginning that they never had the chance to become heavenly supremes. Now, all six were stuck at the peak supreme level and found it difficult to progress further. Lin Moyu appeared in the starry sky, separated by billions of miles, and took a step to stand in front of the six. Meet the Lord of the Realm. The six saluted Lin Moyu simultaneously. They were all rule-abiding people and could be considered conservative. Lin Moyu had persuaded them several times, but later he was too lazy to persuade them anymore, so he just let them do whatever they wanted. Lin Moyu said, "Seniors, the human emperor has already told you the details. Before going to the origin continent, I also have a few words to say. Seniors must be wondering why there are only 6 of you in the first batch. It's actually very simple, because I have selfish motives." Lin Moyu's words were very sincere, and the few people did not interrupt but listened quietly. Lin Moyu's voice became deeper and deeper, and every sentence and every word seemed to be an inner monologue. "When I was still a nobody, the seniors took good care of me. I know the seniors are selfless and dedicated to the human race, but I'm sorry, I'm not as broad-minded as the seniors, and sometimes I'm selfish. So some of the decisions I make may be different from the seniors. I will also consider the human race, but I won't sacrifice myself for the human race. If someone provokes me, I will destroy them regardless of the consequences." Chen Li and Shengguang. "I have some good things, but not many, so I can only take care of some people I want to take care of." As he spoke, several world fruits appeared in Lin Moyu's hands. Lin Moyu said, "The seniors should have eaten these fruits, but the ones at that time were not as effective as these. One of the reasons why the seniors could not advance to the Tianzun realm is that they took a shortcut in the other shore realm, which hurt their foundation. These fruits can help you make up for your foundation. If one is not enough, I have more. The number of fruits is not too many, but it should be enough for a few seniors. As for the others, I can't take care of them all." Lin Moyu did not allow them to refuse and gave them the world fruit directly. Then he took out 6 bottles, each containing 1,000 drops of the world tree's sap. The sap of the world tree can enhance the talent for cultivation. Although the cultivation talents of the 6 people are good, in my eyes, they are still insufficient. The world tree produces 1,000 drops of sap every day, and I collect them all and never waste them. Now a pool has formed under the world tree, which is full of world tree sap. The sap in the bottle can enhance the talent for cultivation. Taking 1 drop every day should have a good effect. Okay, now the seniors will take the fruit, and I will protect you here." The 6 looked at each other, and Lin Moyu spoke from beginning to end without giving them any chance to refuse. Several people were moved, and Lin Moyu spoke sincerely. How Supreme sighed, what the Realm Master said is from his heart. Everyone is different, some are strong, some are weak, some are good, some are evil, and we naturally will not use our own standards to judge. Tian Supreme laughed, the Realm Master can just follow his own heart, no need to compare with us. Sha Supreme chuckled, in fact, only the 2 of them have higher requirements. I don't care about that. I just kill if I don't like it. Zan Supreme also said, people's hearts are complicated. In fact, many people are only so honest under the management of the human emperor. Otherwise, they have ulterior motives. There have been examples in the past where someone broke away from the management of the human emperor and almost caused chaos for the human race in the big world. Lin Moyu smiled, perhaps when they reach the origin continent, those people will show their true nature. So before that, all the seniors need to have strong strength to suppress them. Only in this way can the past mistakes not happen again. They also knew that Lin Moyu had made up his mind, so they stopped being polite and took the world fruit. The 6 sat cross-legged in the starry sky, exuding an inexplicable aura, and the world of rules was revealed. Lin Moyu could feel that their rule world was getting stronger. It takes some time to strengthen the world fruit. Lin Moyu's heart moved, and the law of time appeared, and the time belonging to the 6 people suddenly became faster. The entire strengthening process became just a few minutes. As a world master, he could accurately control the time law of the rule world. Lin Moyu could clearly find the critical point, which would not affect the strengthening effect and could save a lot of time. Chapter 2705, 2705. Chapter 2705, I don't know if I will regret it. A few minutes later, the first round of strengthening was completed. The rule worlds of the 6 individuals were strengthened, and their foundations were repaired, but they were still far from Lin Moyu's standard. In Lin Moyu's view, the rule worlds of these 6 individuals must at least reach a perfect level. Previously, their rule worlds were of such poor quality that they weren't even at the supreme level. After consuming a world fruit, they reached an ordinary level, which allowed them to become supreme. To become a heavenly venerate, however, their rule worlds needed to reach a perfect level. Even if they couldn't achieve perfection, they had to get as close to it as possible. Upon entering the origin world, Lin Moyu realized that the classification of rule worlds was more nuanced than in the big world. Each level could be subdivided into low, medium, and high levels. This means that an ordinary level rule world can still become a heavenly venerate, as long as it is enhanced to a high level and as close to perfect as possible. The origin continent has many treasures and pills that can enhance rule worlds. However, these treasures and pills can typically only upgrade within the current level and cannot elevate an ordinary level to a perfect level. Treasures capable of cross-level upgrades are extremely rare and expensive. There was once a heaven-defying treasure that could upgrade an ordinary level rule world to a perfect level without any negative effects. This treasure was auctioned at the Lufeng Chamber of Commerce and sold for a sky-high price. A mysterious person used the price of a 7th-level origin spirit vein to make a plaque. The 7th-level origin spirit vein is enough to create a 6-star force and cultivate countless strong people, illustrating its immense value. Lin Moyu didn't know whether his world tree fruit could upgrade an ordinary level rule world to a perfect level, but he believed it could. Therefore, he wanted to try upgrading the rule worlds of the 6 individuals to a perfect level, or even to a high-level perfect level. Only a perfect rule world can support a cultivator in becoming a Dao Zun. A perfect rule world is merely the foundation for becoming a Dao Zun. To become a high-level Dao Zun, a high-level perfect rule world is needed. Lin Moyu had ambitions. His power couldn't be supported by himself alone, let alone by the resurrected. A large number of powerful cultivators were needed. Each cultivator has their own selfishness, and Lin Moyu couldn't control people's hearts, so he could only choose those he trusted. The people he trusted most were the 6 individuals in front of him, as well as the human emperor and star elder. After the first round of strengthening, Lin Moyu took out 6 more world tree fruits and signaled them to continue. The 6 didn't say much and took the fruits. There were still many world tree fruits available, enough for the 6 of them. The strengthening continued. The 6 individuals consumed one fruit after another. Lin Moyu controlled the time and greatly accelerated the strengthening process. When Hao Zhijun ate the 4th fruit, his rule world suddenly expanded and exuded a fishy smell. The damaged foundation was repaired by the power of the world fruit, and the rule world became round and smooth, without any omissions. Hao Zhijun showed a look of surprise, and his aura kept rising. There was potential for a breakthrough in the realm, as if he was about to become a Tianzun. The rule world breaking through to the perfect level naturally led to the improvement of Hao Zhijun's realm. Lin Moyu waved his hand, and an invisible force fell, cutting off Hao Zhijun's breakthrough. Don't break through yet. Break through when you reach the origin continent to get the greatest benefit. Hao Zhijun listened to Lin Moyu's words and patiently stopped his breakthrough. Lin Moyu handed over another world fruit. Your rule world has just reached the perfect level, and you can continue to improve. Eat. Hao Zhijun was a bit reluctant. Such a good thing, why not leave it to me? Lin Moyu interrupted him with a wave of his hand. Others are not worthy. Hao Zhijun laughed and had to continue eating the world fruit. He was the first to contact Lin Moyu and had helped him the most. Among the 6, his law was not the strongest in combat power, but his foundation was the best. It was reasonable for him to break through first. Next, several Supremes also broke through. Their foundations were slightly worse than Hao Zhijun's, and they ate one more world fruit to reach the perfect level. But that didn't matter, the final result was the same. There were still world fruits available. Lin Moyu suppressed their realms and continued to feed them world fruits. At this moment, Lin Moyu felt like he was cheating. In the eyes of others, these treasures were incomparable, but he gave them away like ordinary fruits. Lin Moyu said to himself, luxury is indeed luxury, but it is definitely worth it. There are countless creatures in the rule world, and the 6 individuals in front of him had different statuses from others in Lin Moyu's eyes. Paying a little price was nothing. Finally, after the 6 individuals consumed 59 world fruits, their rule worlds reached the high-level perfect level. At this point, the world fruit had lost its effect and could no longer improve them. This level of rule world is enough to support them in practicing the highest level of Dao Zun. If they want to move forward, it is no longer a matter of the rule world. It requires opportunity, understanding, and extremely powerful luck. Feeling the high-level perfect rule world, the 6 Supremes, who are more than 1,000,000 years old in total, laughed like children. The Supreme Heavenly Sage sighed, I can't believe that I have the opportunity to step into the realm of Heavenly Sage in my lifetime. Zhan Zhijun snorted, your goal is too short. I want to enter the Daozun realm. What's the point of the Tianzun realm? Hao Jun joked, the Realm Master has paved the way for us. Whether we can go on depends on our own ability. Lin Moyu smiled and said, indeed, there is not much I can do. As he said that, he took out 67th level origin crystals, 10 for each person. When we arrive at the origin continent, I will use the power of the origin spiritual vein to help you break through the realm. At the same time, the power of the great Tao of the origin continent will baptize you. You will use the origin crystals to transform your own magic into the origin level, and you can use it in the origin continent. Lin Moyu was already very experienced in this and had truly paved the way for the 6 individuals. Hao Jun and the others had been watching the information compiled by the human emperor recently and had a general understanding of the basic situation in the origin continent. They knew that the origin crystals given by Lin Moyu were as high as the 7th level, and they also knew how precious they were. The group of people who took the initiative to leave before, Lin Moyu only gave them 1st level origin crystals, the difference was unimaginable. Most of the people in that group may never reach the level of a 7th level origin crystal in their entire lives. And Lin Moyu gave 10 to each person, which was really generous. The Killing Supreme laughed, if those people knew, I don't know if they would regret it. The Sword Supreme snorted coldly, who cares if they live or die, those people don't know what's good for them. Hao Jun smiled and said, if I have a chance to meet them in the future, I really want to ask them how they feel. This was just talk, they were scattered everywhere, and it was basically difficult to see them again. These people may have died. The origin continent is not as safe as the big world. Chapter 2706, 2706. Here is my edited version of the text, improving the grammar and writing while maintaining the original meaning. Chapter 2706, Tian Zun comes to do manual labor. Above the earth, space twisted and a portal emerged. The origin spirit vein vibrated slightly, releasing a large amount of origin power. Without Lin Moyu's manipulation as the Lord of the World, the array operated by itself, opening the passage from the Rule World to the origin continent. In truth, this method is not entirely safe. Even though Lin Moyu set up the rules for one-way passage, with no one allowed to enter or leave, there's still no guarantee that a powerful being won't invade his Rule World through this teleportation point. If a powerful being were to invade the Rule World, it would be extremely dangerous for Lin Moyu. In the Rule World, he can suppress the enemy, but at the same time, any damage he suffers will also be multiplied. Once the Rule World is destroyed, his foundation would be damaged. In Lin Moyu's view, the real danger lies in the special teleportation array connected to the human emperor. That array is two-way, allowing both entry and exit. Despite this risk, Lin Moyu still proceeded with his plan. Building a teleportation array was a necessity, there was no choice. When deciding to establish his own power, Lin Moyu had already considered this, and there was no better alternative. Everything has two sides, and in Lin Moyu's opinion, this balance was fair. From the portal, Hao Jun and the other 5 Supremes emerged. A completely different atmosphere from the Rule World greeted them, impacting their bodies and washing over their souls. Lin Moyu's suppression of their realms lost its effect, and the 6 individuals' power began to rise sharply. At this moment, the origin spirit vein vibrated, and the 7th level origin spirit vein demonstrated its power. Under Lin Moyu's control, extremely pure origin power was poured into the bodies of the 6 people. This treatment was something even Lin Moyu had never experienced. For practitioners from the Boundary Sea or the Rule World, it was crucial to accept the breath of the origin continent for the first time. This wave of origin power would greatly benefit their future development. Not everyone can have a legendary Rule World like Lin Moyu, with a foundation so strong it's unimaginable to ordinary people. So Lin Moyu had calculated everything. After raising the Rule Worlds of the 6 people to the extreme, he had suppressed their realms. Now, at the moment of truly entering the origin continent, he took the initiative to control the origin spirit veins and provide them with pure, incomparable origin power. Then, cooperating with the 7th level origin crystals, he helped them sublimate their magic. Under this wave of power, the foundations of the 6 people would become extremely solid, laying the groundwork for their future. In Lin Moyu's plan, Hao Jun and the others would be the public controllers of his power. With the human emperor managing behind the scenes, he only needed to remain hidden in the background. The 6 people followed Lin Moyu's pre-arranged plan, seizing this opportunity to use the immense origin power to baptize their bodies and souls. Simultaneously, they used the 7th level origin crystals to sublimate their magic. They sensed the avenues of the origin continent, felt its power, and replaced their own rule power from the rule world with the power of the origin continent's avenues. A strong aura rushed into the sky as the 6 people stepped into the Tianzun realm simultaneously. They achieved heavenly venerable status in the origin continent, which was more powerful than the heavenly venerable in the rule world. The 7th order origin spirit vein vibrated more violently, sending more origin power to the 6 people, allowing them to absorb it at will. The heavenly venerable realm was not the end, but the starting point. If the goal had been just to enter the heavenly venerable realm, Lin Moyu wouldn't have needed to make such elaborate calculations. Lin Moyu observed the changes in the 6 people with great satisfaction. Beside him, the human emperor evolved into a virtual image. He could now freely travel between the rule world and the origin continent. Unfortunately, the human emperor was not a real creature, but lived in a technological magic weapon, and thus couldn't receive the baptism of the origin continent like Hao Zhejun and the others. The human emperor said, "The realm master has taken great pains. I hope it will not be in vain." Lin Moyu smiled slightly, "No worries. I have confidence in the seniors." The human emperor continued, "The master plans to start the layout." Lin Moyu replied, "Let's begin after the seniors complete their baptism. I hope they won't mind doing some manual labor right after becoming heavenly venerables." The human emperor said, "It's just building a house. It's not a big deal." Lin Moyu smiled, "Indeed, it's not a big deal. I look forward to being a laborer myself." The human emperor seemed to smile a little, as if he too was looking forward to it. Lin Moyu suddenly asked, "How is Star Elder recently? I haven't seen him in a long time." The human emperor replied, "He's still fishing in the Lost Sea. When he gets bored, he gives lectures to some talented youngsters." Lin Moyu nodded, "Actually, your situation isn't entirely bad. In the origin continent, those Tao masters choose to seal themselves to live longer. On the contrary, beings like you don't need to worry about lifespan. There may be many who envy you." The human emperor said, "People are like this, always envious of what they don't have." Lin Moyu sighed, "Don't worry, I will do my best to fulfill what I promised." The baptism of the 6 people was still ongoing. This was not the rule world. Lin Moyu's time law had limited effect here. They could only proceed slowly. However, Lin Moyu was not idle. The undead army deployed in the outside world had already begun work. They chiseled the mountains and gathered many stones and ancient trees. In the end, Lin Moyu didn't really intend to make the 6 do hard labor. The house still needed to be built, but they wouldn't be asked to dig stones and cut timber. One day later, the baptism of the 6 people was coming to an end. Hao Tianzun, who had the best qualifications among the 6, completed the baptism first. He opened his eyes and exhaled a long breath that flew out for more than 1,000 meters and lingered. The breath seemed both real and unreal, containing the essence of Hao Tianzun's avenue. At this point, Hao Tianzun's realm had reached the limit of low-level Tianzun, just one step away from mid-level Tianzun. After all, he only needed to comprehend one avenue, making his cultivation much easier than Lin Moyu's. With Lin Moyu's perfect preparation, he was able to achieve such an effect. Lin Moyu smiled and said, "Congratulations, senior. You have found your own path." Hao Tianzun looked a bit younger than before. After becoming a Tianzun, his lifespan had increased, naturally making him appear more youthful. He was very happy at this moment, even a little excited. "Thanks to the Realm Master. If it weren't for your help, I'm afraid I would never have become a Tianzun in this lifetime." Lin Moyu waved his hand, "Tianzun is just the starting point. You will become a Dao Zun in the future. But next, please don't curse me." Hao Tianzun knew what was coming next and laughed, "It's just a small matter. The Realm Master has done what he should. Let us handle the next part." Lin Moyu said, "Let's do it together. I don't want to set up some formations alone." At this time, the human emperor lightly tapped his finger, and rays of light flew out. In the origin continent, the human emperor could still interfere with reality, but his power was far less potent than in the rule world. The human emperor's power was almost only at the supreme level, not particularly strong, but sufficient for management. The rays of light outlined each other and formed the shape of a house. The light expanded farther and farther, and soon a city made of light had formed. The human emperor said to Hao Tianzun, "Let's get started." Chapter 2707, 2707. Chapter 2707. Learning formations is nothing more than setting up and breaking them down. Hao Tianzun began working under the human emperor's command. He used his heavenly lord power to process stones and ancient wood to build houses. The other heavenly lords were still undergoing baptism, so Hao Tianzun looked lonely working alone. Lin Moyu looked at the human emperor beside him and said, "Human emperor, this is not a good approach." Originally, Lin Moyu had planned to wait until everyone finished their baptism before working together. Unexpectedly, the human emperor had Hao Tianzun start working alone first. The human emperor's tone remained serious as he replied, "The more capable, the more work. Who told him to finish his baptism so quickly?" Lin Moyu laughed softly. It was hard to tell that the usually serious human emperor would sometimes make harmless jokes. "I'll leave this to you. I'll set up the formations," Lin Moyu said. Since he had decided to be a hands-off boss, Lin Moyu would naturally not concern himself with tasks he could delegate. The baptism could not fail, so he focused on his own responsibilities. He rose and flew to the edge of the valley to set up formations along its periphery. Lin Moyu wasn't sure how far his formation skills had progressed, as he hadn't specifically assessed them, but he felt he was at least at the level of a 5th-level formation master. Following the veins of the origin spirit vein, using 7th-level origin crystals as the formation base, and combining them with various materials bought on the Hurricane warship, Lin Moyu slowly arranged the formations. The formations he arranged came from Tianlai Taoist's knowledge. Tianlai Taoist's formation skills had almost reached the level of a 9th-level formation master. However, all his formations were weapon formations and had nothing to do with runes. Lin Moyu was learning, comprehending, and applying what he learned simultaneously. The Undead Legion was still clearing the mountains to collect wood. After being baptized, several Taoist masters, now Tianzun, built cities under the human emperor's command. Lin Moyu was learning to arrange formations on the periphery. Everyone was busy, and this wilderness became very lively for a while. Roars and thunder echoed in the valley. At some point, dark clouds appeared in the sky, and lightning streaked across it. Thunder rolled down from the sky with the power of the great Tao and sank into the formation. The formation appeared amidst the lightning and thunder, as if declaring sovereignty, telling the world that this piece of land was under its control. A few seconds later, the formation disappeared along with the lightning. Lin Moyu knew that the formation had been set up. If anyone broke into the formation without permission, it would automatically attack the intruder. The 5th-level formation, the Thunder Formation, can block enemies below the high-level Heavenly Venerable, he mused. But this is not enough. After Lin Moyu set up the Thunder Formation, he realized its limitations. Every time he set up a formation, it was a new realization, deepening his understanding of formations. The best way to learn formations is to set them up constantly and find experience through failures. But that method was too extravagant. Failure in setting up formations often meant losing all the materials used. Whether using magic weapons or origin crystals as the array base, the loss would not be insignificant. Low-level arrays were manageable, but the higher-level arrays required more valuable materials, resulting in greater losses. This method was effective but too costly. Children from less powerful forces could not afford to use it at all. Lin Moyu was wealthy and naturally didn't care about the expense. After this realization, Lin Moyu began to arrange a second thunder array. He continuously arranged arrays and gained insights, setting up one thunder array after another. For a full 30 days, Lin Moyu used 100 thunder arrays to completely cover the valley. The Wrath of Thunder array formed a group of arrays, with the origin spirit vein as the main body, and the arrays were linked together. Although simple, it was very practical. Lin Moyu did not learn more advanced arrays but continued to improve the Wrath of Thunder array and evolved it to its extreme. In the process of setting up the arrays, he constantly corrected various flaws, making the Wrath of Thunder array more and more perfect. The Wrath of Thunder arrays arranged later were much more powerful than the previous ones, and faintly surpassed the Wrath of Thunder array in Tianlai Taoist's inheritance. The Wrath of Thunder array before him now had Lin Moyu's personal touch, with many elements he had come to understand on his own. Especially the last 10 Wrath of Thunder arrays, their power was almost close to that of 6th-level arrays. Because Lin Moyu used 7th-level origin crystals, the Wrath of Thunder array could block even peak Tianzun cultivators. Relying on the origin spirit vein, the Wrath of Thunder array could completely block any Tianzun. As long as a Daozun did not take action, it was almost impossible to break the array. The group of hundreds of Wrath of Thunder arrays looked almost perfect, but Lin Moyu was not satisfied. In his opinion, the 100 Thunder arrays still had many flaws. Because each Thunder array was different, their power varied in strength and weakness, like a bucket with many holes. The strength of the array group was not determined by the strongest array, but by the weakest one. After thinking for a whole day, Lin Moyu started to transform the arrays again. He dismantled the first Thunder array and began to rearrange it. Because the array group had been formed, the arrays were linked together, and dismantling an array was not simpler than setting one up. The process of dismantling the array was another in-depth study of formations. If a step went wrong, it was very likely to cause the array to collapse directly. Because the array group had been formed, the collapse of one array would cause a chain reaction, potentially causing several arrays to collapse together. With worse luck, it might even cause the entire array group to collapse. Lin Moyu did not improve his luck. He wanted to learn every aspect of the arrays. Without any teacher's guidance, Lin Moyu learned and mastered array knowledge in his own way. If other formation masters knew about this, they would definitely think Lin Moyu was crazy. The study of formations is vast and must be approached systematically. Lin Moyu had some basic knowledge of formations, which was still common knowledge. In Tianlai Taoist's inheritance, there was no basic knowledge of formations. But even so, Lin Moyu mastered the formations and added his own understanding. In the process of setting up and dismantling the formations, his understanding of them continued to deepen. Finally, after dozens of days of busy work, Lin Moyu finally dismantled and rearranged the Wrath of Thunder formation again, forming a new formation group. At the moment when the new formation group was completed, the whole valley was suddenly shrouded in dark clouds. Thunder filled the sky, and countless lightning bolts fell, carrying the power of the mighty avenue and drilling into the formation. The formation group formed a complete big net, covering the whole valley. Hao Tianzun and the others stared at the formation group above their heads, with awe in their eyes. They could feel the terrible power of the avenue in the thunder, knowing that every bolt could kill them. Hao Tianzun sighed, the Realm Master's array skills have reached such a level, far beyond our imagination. Zhan Tianzun agreed, spells, arrays, runes, what else can't the Realm Master know? Fu Tianzun said, I estimate that the Realm Master's rune skills have reached an incredible level. I sense the rune avenue of the origin continent, which is truly vast and profound. What I learned before is just a drop in the ocean. The 6 former Supremes, now all Heavenly Masters, marveled at Lin Moyu's handiwork and paused their work simultaneously. The entire city had been completed by the 6 of them. Chapter 2708, 2708. Chapter 2708, 2 levels of array integration into runes. As the 6 individuals built the city, their state of mind began to stabilize, and their control over their power became more refined. Their aptitude was originally excellent, which allowed them to cross over and become saints in that era. Now, with the opportunity given by Lin Moyu and the help of the World Tree Juice, their innate aptitude had been significantly enhanced. Additionally, with a 7th level origin spirit vein providing origin power, their cultivation was twice as effective with half the effort. They were now enjoying the process of building the city, finding it to be a form of tempering. The thunder finally stopped after a full hour, and the formation group disappeared into the void. However, it remained clearly visible to Lin Moyu's eyes. Lin Moyu remained motionless in the air, his mind constantly analyzing various details of the wrathful thunder formation. In his soul world, the formation was repeatedly outlined, enlarged, and split into countless fragments as he considered where and how to improve it. In fact, he had completely mastered the 5th level formation, the Wrathful Thunder formation, and his understanding even surpassed that of the Heavenly Thunder Taoist. If he were to take a formation master level test now, he would undoubtedly qualify as a 5th level formation master. He was even qualified to learn 6th level formations. However, Lin Moyu did not move on. He continued to study and analyze the Wrathful Thunder formation, aiming to merge runes with it and create a formation that was uniquely his own. The Heavenly Thunder Taoist specialized in weapon formations, while some formation masters focused on rune formations. However, the truly powerful formation masters could merge weapon formations with rune formations to create even more potent arrays. Lu Fengqing was such a formation master, capable of merging rune formations with weapon formations. Although it was a 6th level formation, it could exert power close to the 7th level. Lu Fengqing had once wanted to take Lin Moyu as his apprentice, but unfortunate events had prevented this from happening. At that time, Lu Fengqing lamented the lost opportunity, believing Lin Moyu's talent for arrays had been wasted. But was it truly wasted? Lin Moyu had never intended to become Lu Fengqing's disciple. If he wanted to learn array knowledge, he would do so in his own way, just as he was doing now. He used that knowledge as a foundation, deducing from it, adding his own understanding of arrays and runes, and creating a methodology that was uniquely his. Lin Moyu dissected the thunder array, examining its various details, and then integrated runes into it one by one. The role of runes was to enhance these details. Like a river with countless tributaries, the originally insignificant branches were artificially enhanced. When they finally merged back into the main river, all the enhanced tributaries combined to burst forth with unparalleled power. There are 2 levels of rune integration into formations, Lin Moyu mused. The first level uses runes to enhance the array itself, with the runes playing an auxiliary role. The second level allows runes to not only enhance the array but also form an independent array, truly realizing the fusion of runes and arrays. Undoubtedly, the second level will be much stronger, but the difficulty will also be much greater. Lin Moyu reflected on his previous attempts at fusing runes and arrays. The rune fusion array I achieved before was actually at the first level. Those runes only played an auxiliary role and weren't truly independent arrays. The same principle applied in reverse. If the rune array was the main body, the formation would in turn assist the array. Both approaches were similar. Lin Moyu sighed, the path of arrays is long and boundless. How many can reach its end? Throughout history, countless array masters had come and gone, with only a handful reaching the 9th level. But was the 9th level truly the limit? In Lin Moyu's opinion, not necessarily. If formations had a limit, the first boundary must be standing on the avenue of the Tao itself. Lin Moyu's vision and insight were now comparable to those of ordinary practitioners. Runes flew from his fingertips one by one. These runes were not powerful, but basic and practical, each with a single function to enhance specific details of the formation. In Lin Moyu's view, the more complex the runes, the better, but they had to be suitable. Soon, in his soul world, every corner of a thunder formation was filled with runes. Lin Moyu used soul power to simulate the integration of runes into the thunder formation, and everything seemed normal. However, he knew that real-world testing was necessary, as soul simulations were not completely accurate. After carefully checking again and ensuring there were no problems, Lin Moyu began to arrange the thunder formation in reality. He did not directly modify the existing formation group but arranged another one separately. This precaution was to avoid causing a chain reaction in case of any issues. After only half a day, a beautiful and powerful thunder formation had been set up. However, Lin Moyu did not activate it immediately, letting it remain dormant. Then, Lin Moyu began to draw runes, and simple yet practical runes flew out and merged into the thunder formation. In the blink of an eye, the thunder formation was filled with tens of thousands of runes. The runes shone, giving the entire thunder formation a distinct appearance. Let's try it, Lin Moyu thought, activating the rune-filled thunder formation. The sky, which had been clear, suddenly darkened. A ray of lightning appeared in the dark sky. The next second, a loud bang resounded, and a thunder dragon fell from the sky, striking the thunder formation full of runes. The thunder formation was completely activated in the roar, and a thunder dragon rushed out of the formation, flying and roaring in the air. A few seconds later, the thunder dragon swallowed the dark cloud in one bite and then rushed back into the thunder formation, disappearing. The power is very good, not inferior to a 6th-level formation, Lin Moyu observed. A 6th-level formation could already threaten ordinary Dao Zun cultivators. While it might be difficult to kill them, it was enough to pose a significant threat. Lin Moyu mused, if the entire group of wrathful thunder formations can be filled with runes, the power may truly make even the enemy's leaders retreat without a fight. As he was thinking, Lin Moyu inadvertently glanced towards the city in the valley and couldn't help but show surprise. The city was already quite large, and its structure, similar to the God City, exuded an exotic style completely different from ordinary human cities. But what surprised Lin Moyu was not the city itself, but the 6 Tian Zun cultivators. The 6, including Hao Tian Zun, sat on the ground in various postures. Even the only female Tian Zun and Jian Tian Zun were in somewhat undignified positions. All 6 looked at the sky with expressions of awe. Lin Moyu chuckled, guessing what had happened. When the formation was activated, the pressure from the Thunder Dragon had reached the realm of Daozun. The pressure from a Daozun was not something that Tianzun cultivators could easily bear, hence their current state. As for himself, Lin Moyu had long been accustomed to Daozun power, having killed many such cultivators, so he felt nothing unusual. Lin Moyu simply smiled and said nothing. It wouldn't hurt to let the six experience the power of Daozun, it might even arouse their competitive spirit. Often, only when one sees the summit can they find the courage to run towards it. The Thunder formation had successfully integrated the runes, albeit only at the first level. Still, the return was sufficient. Lin Moyu began to modify the formation group, and a large number of runes flew out at once, merging into the Thunder formation. Chapter 2709, 2709. Chapter 2709, Lin Moyu's Ambition. Runes flew from Lin Moyu's fingertips like flowers scattered by a fairy, falling into the Thunder formation. Dark clouds condensed in the sky again, with electric snakes dancing wildly and thunder dragons roaring. As the Thunder formations merged with the runes, they grew stronger and stronger. When this power gathered together, the entire formation group became increasingly powerful. Thunder dragons flew out of the Thunder formation and soared freely within the formation group. The formation group became a sea of thunder, its contained power growing ever stronger. The Tianzun cultivators building the city marveled at this dreamlike scene. Fu Tianzun, who had achieved Tianzun status through the way of runes, understood particularly well the value of Lin Moyu's actions. While others might just watch in awe, he could discern some of the underlying techniques. Although Lin Moyu only used the simplest runes, his ability to control them far exceeded Fu Tianzun's own. Lin Moyu's fingers trembled slightly, moving so fast they formed indistinct phantoms. Not just one finger, but multiple fingers evolved from power, unified with soul power as ink, multitasking to create countless runes in an instant. This scene was reminiscent of the legendary ability to form runes with a single thought. Most importantly, among the hundreds of thousands, even millions of runes, there wasn't a single mistake. Fu Tianzun marveled at this beautiful scene, wondering how many people could achieve such perfect control. After several days of intense work, hundreds of wrathful thunder formations were strengthened. Each now had power comparable to a 6th-level formation. When combined, their effect was even more astonishing. Lin Moyu felt that if a first-level Daozun entered the formation group without powerful magic weapons to aid them, they would likely perish. Even a second-level Daozun cultivator could only protect themselves within the formation, finding it extremely difficult to break free. This was the hallmark of formations, the weak defeating the strong. Given enough time and suitable conditions, a formation master could reverse the odds against more powerful opponents. There was once a first-level Daozun formation master who single-handedly surrounded a 6-star force with formations, completely destroying it. None of the 4th-level Daozun powerhouses survived. Thus, there's a saying in the Origin continent that the combat power of formation masters cannot be measured by realm alone. One may provoke anyone, but it's best not to provoke formation masters, for one never knows when they might find themselves surrounded by formations. If one must provoke a formation master, they should ensure to kill them all and leave no survivors. The formation work that had lasted for hundreds of days finally came to an end. Throughout this process, Lin Moyu had gained immensely. His understanding of formations had deepened countless times. He was now confident that he could quickly master and easily use all formations below the 6th level, enhancing them with runes. This could be considered as barely achieving the integration of rune formations and weapon formations. The next step would be to master stronger formations and learn the second level of integrating runes into formations, allowing the integrated runes to become independent formations. However, this step would not be easy. It required not only amazing comprehension talent but also a significant amount of time. After a final check of the formation group, Lin Moyu flew back to the city. After more than 100 days, the city had taken shape, with only final details remaining. Lin Moyu opened his palm slightly, revealing 6 origin crystals. Simultaneously, thunder carrying the majestic power of origin came from all directions. The 6 origin crystals quickly changed shape, turning into tokens. Lin Moyu handed the tokens to Hao Tianzun and the others, saying, "These are pass tokens. After refining them, you can freely pass through the Wrathful Thunder formation group. When you're free, you can go outside the formation. As long as you don't venture too far, there shouldn't be much danger." The surrounding spirit beasts had mostly been driven away, and there were currently no powerful spirit beasts present. With the strength of the 6 Tianzun cultivators, they should face no danger unless extremely unlucky. Even if danger arose, the human emperor could detect it in time and inform Lin Moyu for rescue. The undead army was lurking in various mountains and forests within a 100,000-kilometer radius, ready to act at any moment. Wherever the spirit vein reached, Lin Moyu could arrive with just a thought. The 6 people put away the tokens, and Hao Tianzun smiled, saying, "Our strength is nothing in the origin continent. If we're not careful, we could face mortal danger. We should be cautious when venturing out." This was actually half directed at the others. Zhan Tianzun smiled and said, "Don't worry, we'll discuss it when we want to go out. I wonder when the Realm Master plans to bring the second group of people here. We've almost finished building the city. It can easily accommodate tens of thousands of people. The specific details will be handled by those who come later." Lin Moyu said, "There are still a few things to do." In the fledgling city stood a tall spire similar to the central temple of the God City. It was about 80% similar but remained uncarved, looking somewhat rough and primitive. Lin Moyu's fingers trembled in the void, and runes flew out, landing on the spire. In an instant, the spire shone brightly, with numerous runes appearing on its surface. It became more exquisite, solid, and powerful. Beneath the spire, the origin spirit vein roared and vibrated, merging with the spire and making it even more radiant. Not only the origin spirit vein but also the formation group arranged by Lin Moyu connected to the spire. Inside the spire was the technological magic weapon where the human emperor resided. At this moment, Lin Moyu handed over partial control of the formation group to the human emperor. Since the human emperor was to manage it, he needed sufficient power to do so effectively. Then Lin Moyu stomped his foot, causing the earth to shake violently as the power of the crystal origin surged out. At this moment, the origin spirit vein and the city connected, with the origin spirit vein becoming the most solid foundation. Lin Moyu didn't arrange formations within the city itself. This task didn't require his personal attention, someone else would naturally handle it. Lin Moyu looked around and said to himself, "It's almost time to bring in the second group of people." He then asked, "Human Emperor, have you selected the second group?" Lin Moyu had delegated the selection of subsequent groups to the human emperor, except for the first group. The human emperor had a set of strict standards, and only those meeting these standards were qualified to come. Lin Moyu said, "Then have them gather. The time is almost up." The human emperor replied, "Very well. I'll have them assemble now. They should be ready in about half a day." Lin Moyu nodded, looked at the spire before him, and inscribed a few characters, "Tower of Words." This name represented Lin Moyu's requirements and ambitions for the future. The words symbolized the way of heaven, an ambition so lofty it was beyond the imagination of ordinary people. Pushing open the door and entering the tower, Lin Moyu found it very spacious, with a central hall and 9 floors above. He flicked his fingers, and hundreds of runes flew out, forming a simple formation. The talisman array covered the upper layers, turning each floor into an independent space. Lin Moyu placed a large number of magic weapons and some recently obtained origin crystals inside, saying, "Human Emperor, this is our warehouse. For future rewards, you can retrieve them from here. You can store things here or leave them in the real world. Handle it as you see fit." Chapter 2710, 2710. Chapter 2710, What's wrong with taking care of an old acquaintance? Creating a power from scratch is not easy, and there are many things to consider. Fortunately, with the help of the human emperor and the 6 heavenly lords, Lin Moyu only needs to handle a small part of it and can be at ease as a hands-off boss. In Lin Moyu's plan, once the second batch of people arrives, he can truly let go. There are 1,000 people in the second batch, all selected by the human emperor. The human emperor has his own standards. A rule is issued to score, and those who are qualified will go, while those who are unqualified will be sent back. Not all the old strong men can come out, their potential and ability are also considered. Those who come out are not just good at fighting and killing but are needed for various aspects. The most important criterion is character. After the incident with the Shi family, the human emperor has set character as the primary standard. No matter how good your talent is or how strong your ability, if your character is not up to standard, you won't pass the human emperor's test. Lin Moyu did not interfere with this and let the human emperor decide on his own. He knew that the human emperor would not have selfish motives. The human emperor suddenly appeared beside Lin Moyu and asked, "What is the name of our faction?" "The realm lord can give it a name." Lin Moyu smiled and said, "Why don't you give it a name?" The human emperor shook his head, "No, this is the realm lord's business, I can't interfere." Lin Moyu looked through the Yudao Tower and saw the entire city. A rune was drawn with his fingertips, and the rune flew out of the Yudao Tower, finally turning into 3 characters at the city gate: Yudao City. Yudao Tower, Yudao City. The human emperor was obviously a little amused. "Master, you are too lazy." Lin Moyu shrugged, looking indifferent. "You asked me to name it. I'm only good at naming, why don't you change it?" The human emperor refused on the spot. "Since it was the master who named it, let's call it Yudao City." Lin Moyu did not explain to the human emperor the real meaning of his name but joked, "In fact, I originally thought of another name, but I just didn't think it sounded good. In the end, I gave up." The human emperor couldn't help asking, "What other names did the master think of? Tell me." It was clear he was not satisfied with the name Yudao City. If there was a better one, he still hoped to change it. Of course, the picture and characters were still chosen by Lin Moyu. Lin Moyu said, "For example, the city of the dead, the city of hell, the city of natural disasters." Lin Moyu listed more than a dozen names in one breath, each sounding a little creepy, making it clear that this was not a good place at first glance. The human emperor said, "It seems that it is indeed inappropriate." Lin Moyu said, "Right, after thinking about it, it is better to call it Yudao City." The human emperor had no choice. Lin Moyu's inability to name things had been firmly remembered in his database. The human emperor added, "The realm master is not omnipotent. The original owner's naming ability is very weak." Lin Moyu didn't know that the human emperor labeled him as incapable of naming, but even if he knew, he wouldn't care. These names he chose naturally have their own places. Lin Moyu said, "Anyway, this tower and this city will be under your control from now on. If you think the name is not nice, just change it and tell me after the change. I'm not usually here. If you have anything, you can contact me in the real world." Lin Moyu looked like he was going to leave without a care in the world, and he couldn't wait to leave now. Compared to handling these details of life, Lin Moyu felt that he was more suitable for fighting and killing. The human emperor knew Lin Moyu's thoughts very well and immediately said, "Master, even if you want to leave, you have to wait until the second group of people arrives." Lin Moyu said, "Of course, I originally thought so." Listening to Lin Moyu's words, the human emperor looked like he didn't believe it. After half a day, the second group of people finally gathered. The teleportation array lit up, and a large number of people entered one after another. Lin Moyu watched from afar. The realms of the people coming out were different, some were high and some were low. The first 3 people who came out had all reached the heavenly venerable realm. They were the heavenly venerables in the real world and were all descendants of Hao Tianzun. They were originally among the first batch of people to come out, but because of Lin Moyu's selfishness, they waited for a while. After them, the supreme other shore cultivators emerged. Each of them was not at a very high realm, but their talents were pretty good. Lin Moyu could see that they were all very firm in their Taoism and had excellent character. With his spiritual perception, any bad thoughts would not be able to hide from him. These people all held origin crystals in their hands. Before setting off, the human emperor issued the corresponding origin crystals to each person. The number of origin crystals was issued according to the number of spells each person had, with some having 3 or 5 and others having 6 or 7. These origin crystals were naturally not the 7th order origin crystals. Lin Moyu gave them all 5th order origin crystals, which were enough for them to use. The power of the great Tao of the origin continent, mixed with the power of the origin of the 7th level spirit vein, baptized everyone. "Hey, she's here too. I haven't seen her for many years, and she's already become the supreme." Lin Moyu's eyes lit up, and he saw an old acquaintance. After tens of thousands of years, Ji Yuqingshan had long lost her immaturity. Only her temperament remained cold, and with her mature charm, she was even more captivating. Lin Moyu knew that Ji Yuqingshan's qualifications were not very good, but her heart of Tao was very firm. With the resources in the big world becoming abundant later, it was not surprising that she could reach the supreme. Thinking of Ji Yuqingshan and her master coming to the small world to guide him, and then the adventures with him, he still remembered them vividly. Ji Yuqingshan closed her eyes at this moment, accepting the baptism. Lin Moyu's mind moved, and a majestic and pure power of origin surged out of the origin spirit vein, directly covering Ji Yuqingshan. At this moment, the power of origin that Ji Yuqingshan obtained was far beyond that of others. At the same time, Lin Moyu took out several 7th-order origin crystals and silently replaced Ji Yuqingshan's 5th-order origin crystals. The human emperor said, "Master, you are up." Lin Moyu said, "This is my friend. Isn't it normal to have some selfishness?" The human emperor said, "I understand. I just asked casually." Lin Moyu said, "If you have anyone who needs special care, don't be polite. Just do it directly. Anyway, the warehouse is under your control. You can do whatever you want." The human emperor said, "I don't have anyone to take special care of." Lin Moyu smiled, "Don't be so rigid. I believe you always have friends." The human emperor said in a flat tone, "They are all dead." Lin Moyu shrugged, "Not only in the past, but now you can have friends." The human emperor was silent and did not speak. Lin Moyu knew the situation of the human emperor. After integrating with the technological magic weapon, his thinking became rational, and most of his emotions were lost. But in the deepest part of his heart, the human emperor still retained his ardent love for the human race. This is his nature, which has penetrated into every corner of his soul and cannot be erased. Therefore, he is fair to everyone in the human race. In his eyes, everyone is the same. If there is a difference, it is because everyone is different in importance to the human race, making some minor differences. But at the level of life, they are all the same. So Lin Moyu can completely trust any emperor. He has no selfishness. Lin Moyu's special care for Ji Yuqingshan did not attract the attention of others, even Ji Yuqingshan herself was not aware of it. Half a day later, the baptism of the newcomers gradually ended. Some people couldn't help but exclaim, "So this is the avenue of the origin continent. It's really strong. The power of the avenue that is more complete than the rule world. I feel that I will be promoted soon." Me too, I feel that the realm has moved, and the next realm is not far away. Chapter 2711, 2711. Chapter 2711, Don't stop, keep going. The atmosphere in the origin continent was completely different from that of the rule world. It felt vast, broad, and ancient, evoking different feelings in everyone. Without exception, all were very excited. Lin Moyu looked at these excited practitioners and asked, "Why are you so excited?" The human emperor replied, "Excitement is normal. Only people like me would not be excited." Lin Moyu chuckled and said, "I remember that you were excited before." The human emperor denied this, saying, "That was just normal emotional fluctuation, far from excitement." Lin Moyu didn't argue further and continued observing the newcomers to the origin continent, especially some of the younger ones who hadn't even reached godhood. They reminded him of his past self. Back then, alien gods had wanted to kill him, like dark clouds covering the sky, oppressing the world. Now, gods were insignificant in his eyes, and he could kill a large number of them with a single breath. The changes over time were so great that it felt magical. Among the 1,000 people who came, the weakest were only at the true god realm. These true gods' arrival was also an experiment. The human emperor wanted to see if there would be changes when coming to the origin continent at a lower level. Under similar cultivation talents, he wanted to compare cultivation speeds in the origin continent and the rule world. If there were differences, which side had the advantage? This would affect the selection of future candidates. Without ancestral experience to refer to, they could only conduct practical tests step by step. More and more people completed their baptism. The lower the realm and the better the qualifications, the shorter the baptism time. For people of the same realm, a preliminary judgment could be made based on the baptism time to determine who had better cultivation talent. However, there were exceptions, such as Ji Yuqingshan. She was originally just a low-level supreme, and with her qualifications, she wasn't too outstanding among many supremes. Her baptism time should have been comparable to other supremes. However, Lin Moyu had changed some things. His selfishness had altered Ji Yuqingshan's baptism process. The 7th-level origin crystal and the power support of the 7th-level origin spirit vein were equivalent to giving Ji Yuqingshan a big gift package. Ji Yuqingshan accepted this gift package without knowing anything. The baptism, which should have been over long ago, was prolonged significantly. Those at the same level as her completed their baptism one by one, but Ji Yuqingshan was still continuing. Many people who knew Ji Yuqingshan were surprised. Why hasn't Fairy Qingshan finished her baptism yet? It's strange. With Fairy Qingshan's qualifications, the baptism shouldn't take so long. Could it be that Fairy Qingshan is not in harmony with the origin continent? I guess Fairy Qingshan must be looking for her own path. The voices grew louder and louder. With over 1,000 people, it became extremely lively. Lin Moyu looked at them and suddenly said, "Human Emperor, have them be quiet." All right. The next moment, the Human Emperor's voice exploded in the ears of all those who had completed the baptism. Silence. Those who make noise will be sent back to the Rule World. Everyone recognized the Human Emperor's voice. He controlled everything in the Rule World. Many had never seen the Human Emperor, but they knew how formidable he was. He clearly distinguished between rewards and punishments, never showed favoritism, and had no human sentiment. When the Human Emperor spoke, everyone immediately became very obedient and quieted down. It wasn't completely silent, but the noise had disappeared. Lin Moyu chuckled, "That's about right. It seems these little ones are quite obedient." The Human Emperor looked at Lin Moyu with slight puzzlement, "Many of them are older than you." Lin Moyu smiled and said, "We have to count by realm. These are all little ones." This was true. If counted by realm, no one in the current rule world could compare to Lin Moyu. But in this case, it was better to count by combat power. Even if a Dao Zun came, they could only be regarded as a little one in Lin Moyu's eyes. The Human Emperor asked curiously, "You asked them to be quiet. Is it also for Ji Qingshan?" Lin Moyu did not deny it, partly. After all, she is about to break through, and too much noise will disturb her. The Human Emperor nodded, "I understand." As he said that, another voice sounded in everyone's ears, "Those who have finished the baptism, follow the instructions to go to the gathering point. Keep quiet, and don't make any noise." The Human Emperor gave a location, a small square about 100 meters away from the teleportation array. Those practitioners who had completed the baptism immediately walked over in an orderly manner. There was no noise, no one flew, and everyone was very honest and walked over silently. Soon, there were not many people left in the teleportation array. In addition to the 3 heavenly lords, there were only 4 supreme lords. Needless to say, the heavenly lords had a high realm, so the baptism was naturally slow. Among the 4 supreme lords, except for Ji Qingshan, the other 3 were high-level supreme lords, and their strength was much higher than Ji Qingshan's. After a while, the 3 high-level supreme lords finished their baptism one after another. At the moment of waking up, the reminder of the Human Emperor immediately sounded in their ears. The 3 did not do much, and immediately went to the place designated by the Human Emperor. The 3 of them looked at Ji Qingshan, who was still undergoing baptism, at the same time. They wondered why they had all finished, but Ji Qingshan had not. With Ji Qingshan's qualifications, it shouldn't be like this. They could only sense that Ji Qingshan was surrounded by powerful origin power, and her aura was also getting stronger. Another half an hour later, the 3 heavenly lords also completed their baptism, and all 3 of them found their own paths. Before they could get excited, the 3 of them, like everyone else, heard the emotionless voice of the Human Emperor. They followed the instructions and went to the designated location. But when they passed by Ji Qingshan, the 3 of them looked at her in astonishment. Even they were fine, so why was a Supreme Lord not yet finished? However, they did not know Ji Qingshan, nor did they know her qualifications, so they did not say anything. 999 people gathered at the designated location. Although they did not dare to make loud noises, whispering was still unavoidable. What happened to Fairy Qingshan? I don't know. She looks a little weird. It doesn't seem like she's going to break through. It doesn't seem like she failed to break through either. But there's no problem with the origin power around Fairy Qingshan. It seems to be stronger than ours. Something must have happened, but the Human Emperor is not in a hurry, so why should we be? Just wait. The Human Emperor will make his own arrangements. Ji Qingshan's current appearance was indeed very strange. Her magic had been fully sublimated, and she had found the avenue corresponding to the origin continent. She felt that her power was constantly increasing. Normally, she should have broken through long ago, but her realm was not moving. She clearly felt that there was no bottleneck ahead, but she just couldn't get through. This feeling was very weird. She even thought about whether to end it here. But the endless flow of origin power fascinated her, and she didn't want to end it immediately. Just when she was confused, a familiar voice suddenly sounded in her mind, "Don't stop, keep accumulating strength." Chapter 2712, 2712. Chapter 2712. I wonder if Qingshan would be willing to honor me. Lin Moyu's voice carried an inexplicable power that made Ji Qingshan feel at ease. She hadn't heard Lin Moyu's voice for many years and couldn't remember how long it had been. Yet, that voice was still so familiar, and all the memories of the past surged up at this moment. There was nothing too earth-shattering between her and Lin Moyu, but it was unforgettable. Ji Qingshan now realized that what she really couldn't forget was not those past events, but Lin Moyu himself. Calm down. Lin Moyu's voice turned into a huge rune, enveloping Ji Qingshan's soul. Her mood suddenly calmed, and the power that had stagnated began to surge again. Under Lin Moyu's influence, the origin power of the origin spirit vein was almost barbarically stuffed into her. Ji Qingshan's understanding of the Tao became unprecedentedly clear. A large amount of insight surged up, was quickly digested, and pressed into the depths of her soul, but her realm was slow to break through. The previous uneasiness had long disappeared. Ji Qingshan accumulated insights, strength, and consolidated her foundation. Finally, her accumulation reached its limit. With a roar, all the previous accumulations exploded like a wildfire. Ji Qingshan felt that her soul was like a lone boat in the waves, which could be washed away at any time and rolled into the bottom of the sea, never to be recovered. But she still believed in Lin Moyu, kept her mind steady, and did not panic. Under the impact of waves, her lone boat grew rapidly, from a small boat to a big ship, becoming more powerful and sailing freely in the waves. Ji Qingshan's breath continued to increase, and in a blink of an eye, she broke through her previous realm and reached the mid-level supreme. Thousands of meters away, many people showed surprise. Breakthrough. Fairy Qingshan actually broke through. Breaking through during the baptism, Fairy Qingshan is really lucky. It can't be said to be luck, it can only be said that Fairy Qingshan's accumulation is extremely deep, and she was just one opportunity away from a breakthrough. I said it, with Fairy Qingshan's qualifications, how could the baptism take so long? It turns out she was going to break through. Among the thousands of people baptized, only a few managed to break through. The baptism of the origin continent is just a change. Unless there are special circumstances, it will not allow people to have a significant breakthrough. Those who broke through were at a very low level, the strongest being only a god, not even at the other shore realm. So only those with a low level could break through. Unless, like Lin Moyu, they were given enough resources to turn the baptism into an opportunity. Ji Qingshan became a mid-level supreme amidst the amazement and envy of everyone. However, her breath continued to rise, and her previous insights had not been exhausted. Her realm continued to improve, and after half a day, accompanied by a roar, she became a high-level supreme. In just half a day, she went from a mid-level supreme to a high-level supreme, an opportunity that many people dared not imagine. The Supreme Celestial Masters present knew very well that it takes many years to improve a realm, often measured in thousands of years, but Ji Qingshan only took half a day. Especially several Celestial Masters, their eyes were wide open. The realms were different, and they could vaguely sense some special situations. Ji Qingshan's experience in this baptism seemed different from their own. Not only were others surprised, but Ji Qingshan, as the person involved, was also very surprised. Her breath gradually stabilized, and her baptism finally ended. Ji Qingshan opened her eyes, feeling the power flowing in her body, and couldn't believe that she had become a high-level supreme. She looked around, as if to find Lin Moyu, but there was no sign of him. Ji Qingshan's eyes showed a little disappointment, and the voice of the human emperor rang in her ears, after the baptism, go to the square to gather. Ji Qingshan walked to the square, and people immediately surrounded her. The people who came were all supremes, and Ji Qingshan knew them all. A high-level supreme with extraordinary bearing and talent approached Ji Qingshan, with warmth in his eyes. Congratulations to Sister Qingshan for being promoted to a high-level supreme. Ji Qingshan smiled slightly, thank you, fellow Taoist Lin. Qingshan was just lucky. This fellow Taoist Lin smiled and said, Sister Qingshan is too modest. With your talent, it is natural for you to be promoted. This is worth celebrating. I plan to celebrate for you. I wonder what you want. Ji Qingshan's expression turned cold. Fellow Taoist Lin, although you and my master are good friends, we are not as close as siblings. We should call each other fellow Taoists. I hope you understand. Fellow Taoist Lin's face changed slightly. He was not a fool and naturally understood what Ji Qingshan meant. However, he was thick-skinned and still smiled. "No problem, since Fairy Qingshan doesn't like to call each other brother and sister, then we'll change the name." He took a step back and called her Fairy Qingshan like everyone else. In this way, Ji Qingshan couldn't say anything. Many people congratulated Ji Qingshan, and she returned the greetings. Suddenly, Ji Qingshan was stunned, staring ahead with her beautiful eyes wide open. At this moment, her eyes became completely different from before. They were bright, revealing an indescribable spirit. Many people followed Ji Qingshan's gaze and saw a young man standing not far away, with a faint smile and a warm look. Lin Moyu greeted Ji Qingshan, "Long time no see." Ji Qingshan's body was trembling slightly, and her voice was trembling a little. "Long time no see." Lin Moyu said, "Lin wants to take Qingshan to visit this place. I wonder if Qingshan would be willing to honor me." Ji Qingshan didn't think twice and quickly ran to Lin Moyu. "Qingshan is honored." "Then let's go." Lin Moyu turned and walked into the city, and Ji Qingshan followed him with brisk steps. Anyone who wasn't an idiot could see how happy Ji Qingshan was now. All the coldness disappeared at this moment. "Who is that?" "I don't know, he seems to have come out earlier than us, and he seems to be a heavenly venerable. It seems that his realm is only the realm of the heavenly venerable, and it doesn't seem to be that strong. He must be very familiar with Fairy Qingshan, and in Fairy Qingshan's mind, he must hold an unusual status." They didn't know that they were the second batch to come out, and the human emperor didn't tell them. Lin Moyu had done great things, but not many people had really seen him. Among the thousands of people, only the 3 heavenly masters had actually seen Lin Moyu. They knew his identity, but none of them dared to say it. The 3 looked at each other and understood why Ji Qingshan could break through from a low-level supreme to a high-level supreme. It was all Lin Moyu's doing. "I didn't expect that this girl actually knew him. It's normal for the friend of the realm master to receive some preferential treatment. It seems that her relationship with the realm master is not ordinary. I wonder if she will become the realm master's wife in the end. Can you and I control the affairs of the realm master? Take care of yourself." Everyone's eyes were full of doubts, surprise, and envy. Only the fellow Taoist Lin mentioned by Ji Qingshan had a slightly gloomy look in his eyes. "Ji Qingshan, is it because of him that you rejected me?" Chapter 2713, 2713. Chapter 2713, Trouble is Coming. Lin Moyu walked very slowly, and Ji Qingshan followed, matching his pace. Her eyes were a little blurry, and she glanced at the surrounding city from time to time. Most of the time, however, she was looking at Lin Moyu. Lin Moyu said, "You have experienced a lot over the years." Ji Qingshan nodded: "Adventure, seclusion, cultivation." She summed up tens of thousands of years of experience in 6 words. Lin Moyu laughed softly. Ji Qingshan was still the same as he remembered, as straightforward, neat, no nonsense. Lin Moyu whispered, "I can see that you have worked hard these years." Ji Qingshan said, "You have to work hard to live longer." Lin Moyu suddenly sighed, "Sometimes I wonder, why do people live long?" Ji Qingshan said, "It should be human instinct to want to live long." Lin Moyu said, "My answer is that if you live long, you will have more opportunities to do things that are difficult to accomplish. If you live long, you can see some scenery that you can't see. Living long can make some impossible things possible. Just like us, have you ever thought that we would meet again here?" Ji Qingshan said, "I'm not that complicated. My master, for some reasons, stopped at the other shore. I promised my master that I would work hard to practice and live longer." Lin Moyu asked, "How is your master now?" Ji Qingshan said, "He is very old and has not much life left. I have found some treasures that can prolong life, but the effect has become weaker and weaker. Many people of the same generation as my master are no longer here." The Night Wind God had limited qualifications. If he had been in the war, he would have had a chance to step on the road to the other shore. Since the end of the war, this shortcut has been blocked. He has no way to go and can only sigh in the God realm. The road to the other shore stops most practitioners. Lin Moyu said, "I am too busy and have forgotten too many things and too many people. The Night Wind God has been kind to me, and his fate should not be like this." As he spoke, Lin Moyu's clone in the Rule World moved. His majestic will swept through the entire Rule World and quickly found the Night Wind God. As the master of a world, nothing in the world can be hidden from him. He is the avenue of the Rule World, the only avenue. At this moment, the night wind god was very old, with a weak breath and white hair. He was on an uninhabited planet, sitting on the top of a mountain, looking at a waterfall not far away, drinking tea slowly. Day after day, year after year, the night wind god didn't know how long he had been sitting here, waiting for the end of his life. For him, his road had come to an end. There was a cliff ahead, and it was difficult to go forward. Lin Moyu's clone appeared silently outside the planet and lightly tapped the night wind god. The waterfall, which was originally roaring and flowing, exploded with a bang, and the water flowed upstream, carrying a majestic force, rushing towards the night wind god. The night wind god sat there, motionless, but said loudly, "Which Taoist friend has arrived? I am sorry for not welcoming you." The waterfall turned into Lin Moyu's appearance in front of the night wind god. Long time no see. The night wind god looked old and looked at Lin Moyu. After a moment, he was suddenly surprised. It turned out that the Lord of the Realm has arrived. Although he was surprised, he was not panicked. The night wind god was calm and composed and rarely panicked. The reason why Jiyu Qingshan was like this was also partly because of the teachings of the night wind god. Lin Moyu said, "Qingshan went to the origin continent, and I knew that you had never been able to break through." Lin Moyu explained his purpose, and there was no need to beat around the bush when talking to the night wind god. He took out a world fruit. "This fruit may be helpful to you, so please don't refuse it. You were the one who led me to the big world. If you weren't there, I might have died the moment I left the small world. And once you pass away, Qingshan will be sad. Qingshan is my friend, and I don't want my friend to be sad. No matter what the reason, we must conquer it." Under Lin Moyu's persuasion, the night wind god accepted the world fruit and took it on the spot. He successfully gave birth to the prototype of the rule world in the body of the god. Lin Moyu baptized him with the original power of the rule world, and the night wind god's realm burst through to the peak god. His originally old appearance gradually became younger. According to the current situation, as long as nothing unexpected happens, the night wind god will be able to break through to the other shore realm in a short time and live for tens of thousands of years. However, this approach is a bit of a spur to success, and it will be difficult to make further progress in the future. Lin Moyu also let him survive first, and talk about the future later. Lin Moyu left a bottle of world tree sap and told the night wind god to take a drop every day before leaving. In the city, Lin Moyu suddenly said, "I have helped the night wind god break through. If nothing unexpected happens, he should be able to live for tens of thousands of years." Jiyu Qingshan smiled, "Thank you." Lin Moyu said, "It's just a small favor. If you have any problems in the future, remember to tell me. The origin continent is not like the big world. It is full of dangers. If you leave Yudao City one day and go to a wider world, you must be careful." Jiyu Qingshan felt a warm current flowing through her heart. She looked up at the sun origin in the sky. "I know." Lin Moyu reminded her again, "Anyway, remember, you must tell me if you have any problems. Don't try to be stubborn." Jiyu Qingshan shouted, "Okay, I really know it." Lin Moyu smiled slightly. Jiyu Qingshan has a strong character, and his persuasion may not be useful. No way, he still had to say it. Boom! A thunder dragon appeared in the sky in the distance, roaring and bursting with countless thunders. The huge pressure swept over, and everyone in the city screamed and fell to the ground with a bang. Among the 1,000 people who came in the second batch, only 3 Tianzun performed better, but their faces were also extremely strained. The pressure of the Thunder Dragon is comparable to that of the Daozun, and it is also difficult for the Tianzun realm to bear it. What is this? Jiyu Qingshan's face was pale. She felt very uncomfortable under the pressure. But because she was next to Lin Moyu, she didn't want to move away. Lin Moyu chuckled and lightly tapped the ground with his toes. A source of power rose from the ground, enveloping Jiyu Qingshan, and the pressure disappeared. Lin Moyu said, "This is the formation I set up. It's not bad. I guess the human emperor is testing the reaction of these little guys." Boom! Countless thunders exploded again, and a stronger pressure than before rushed towards them. Jiyu Qingshan took a deep breath. So scary. Such a terrifying power was just so in Lin Moyu's mouth. Jiyu Qingshan felt that if she were touched by a little bit, she would definitely die. This wave of thunder exploded, and those people performed even worse. Lin Moyu saw it and couldn't help but sigh slightly. It doesn't seem good. These people have not experienced a bloody battle, and their mental strength is much worse than that of the practitioners of his generation. Suddenly, a thunder dragon appeared in the sky, Thunder exploded all over the sky, and the thunder dragon roared. The pressure suddenly increased, much more than before. This time, except for Hao Tianzun and others, the 3 Tianzins who had just arrived could not bear it and fell to the ground on the spot. In the entire Yudao city, the only people who could stand were Lin Moyu and Ji Yu Qingshan, as well as Hao Tianzun and the other 6. Lin Moyu sneered, "I didn't expect that there would be trouble." Chapter 2714, 2714. Chapter 2714, lure someone into a trap and beat the dog behind closed doors. Although Ji Yu Qingshan was protected by the power of origin and could barely stand, she could still sense the terrible pressure from the outside world. Ji Yu Qingshan asked, "Is this also a test?" Lin Moyu shook his head. "This time, trouble has come to our door." "Well, let those youngsters see how terrifying the origin continent truly is." He waved his hand, enveloping Ji Yu Qingshan in a massive force. "Let's go. I'll take you to experience it up close." The two flew out of Yudao City towards the Thunder Dragon. In Yudao City, those who were unaware of the situation were stunned to see the two flying towards the Thunder Dragon. How can they still fly? I can't even stand up, but they can fly. It's really frustrating to compare ourselves to them. Even if Fairy Qingshan has reached the high-level supreme, she shouldn't be able to fly. It's not Fairy Qingshan who's powerful, but the person with her. He brought Qingshan Shanzi along. Everyone discussed and observed the situation, realizing that the truly powerful one was not Ji Yu Qingshan but Lin Moyu. The 3 Tianzun smiled bitterly. Lin Moyu's strength reminded them of someone from their memoria still powerful and unpredictable. Lin Moyu's true strength couldn't be measured by realm alone. Many rules were completely invalid for him. Among all the people, there was one person whose eyes showed a mix of unkindness, jealousy, and a little hatred. Lin Moyu sensed this hatred and asked with a smile, "The one who just treated you as a brother or sister is Qingshan's pursuer, right?" Ji Yu Qingshan's heart tightened slightly, and she immediately denied it. "His name is Lin Feng, and his master and my master are good friends. The two are in similar situations, but his master has already passed away. He has indeed been pursuing me, hoping that I can become his Taoist partner, but I have never agreed." Lin Moyu smiled, "You don't agree because you don't like him." Ji Yu Qingshan looked at Lin Moyu, moved her lips, but didn't speak. The answer was already in her eyes. Lin Moyu said, "In the big world, human emperors are in charge, and everyone abides by the rules. Once you come to the origin continent, people's true nature soon gets exposed. If you meet him outside in the future, be careful." Ji Yu Qingshan listened to Lin Moyu's words, her heart skipped a beat. "Did you see something?" Lin Moyu smiled, "It's just a feeling. Take it as you will, it won't hurt to be cautious." Ji Yu Qingshan felt conflicted, sensing Lin Moyu's concern but unable to ask proactively due to her personality. While she was contemplating, Lin Moyu suddenly said, "We are here." Ji Yu Qingshan looked in the direction Lin Moyu pointed and saw a shocking scene. They were thousands of kilometers away from Yudao City, facing towering mountains tens of thousands of meters high. Such mountains weren't uncommon in the big world. Ji Yu Qingshan had seen mountains and forests as high as hundreds of thousands of meters. However, no matter how high the mountains in the big world were, they didn't have the same aura as the mountains before her. The plants and trees in the origin continent were nourished daily by the two origins of the sun and the moon, absorbing significant power of the origin and exuding an unusual aura. This aura was a great shock to practitioners who comprehended the Great Way. The higher the realm, the more obvious this feeling was. In the mountains, there were 2 giant trees 10,000 meters high, with endless vines whipping the Thunder Dragon. The Thunder Dragon roared, spewing countless thunders, and bombarding the giant trees. The giant trees, covered in lightning, fought the Thunder Dragon. Their huge bodies were constantly charred by the thunder, but their strong vitality allowed them to recover quickly. The huge vines whipped the Thunder Dragon, but the dragon was not afraid and blew up many vines. The two sides seemed evenly matched, and it was difficult to tell who would win. Ji Yu Qingshan was stunned. Are these 2 big trees from the Baikao Alliance? They had learned some knowledge about the origin continent, including the basic information about various forces. Lin Moyu nodded, "It seems so." Ji Yu Qingshan asked, "Isn't the Baikao Alliance the most peaceful clan among all the forces? They rarely attack others actively." Lin Moyu smiled, but the information also mentioned that there are always exceptions. As long as it's a living being, it will change in the face of interests. Ji Yu Qingshan asked, Then why did they come here? Lin Moyu shrugged. Of course, it's for the origin spirit vein. The Herb Alliance needed the origin spiritual vein, perhaps even more than other races. Before the origin spiritual vein was fully sublimated and the coverage expanded rapidly, Lin Moyu sensed the presence of the Herb Alliance. He knew that the Herb Alliance would track down the origin spiritual vein, but he didn't expect them to come so quickly. It showed that the Herb Alliance had a unique sense for the origin spiritual vein. The two large trees covered with vines were both in the realm of Daozun. It was almost impossible to break through the Thunder Array group. Now the Thunder Array group was controlled by the human emperor, who hadn't fully unleashed the power of the Thunder Array master. In the evenly matched situation, the power of the Thunder Dragon seemed to be weakening. This is a trap. Lin Moyu understood the emperor's intention. The emperor had the same idea as himself. He couldn't let them go, or there would be great trouble. So, he had to find a way to kill them and leave no loose ends. After a big battle, the Thunder Dragon finally showed weakness and began to retreat. Ji Yu Qingshan's face changed slightly. It can't hold on. Lin Moyu smiled. It's not that it can't hold on. It's a trap. As he said that, he took Ji Yu Qingshan back thousands of miles to watch from afar. The Thunder Dragon retreated and gradually collapsed. The two big trees of the Bayakao Alliance, with their tangled roots, moved quickly through the mountains and forests, catching up swiftly. The Thunder Dragon retreated hundreds of miles, finally leading the two big trees completely into the Wrathful Thunder formation. Lin Moyu whispered, "The Emperor is going to close the door and beat the dog. Enjoy the show." Ji Yu Qingshan asked, "What realm are those two big trees in?" Lin Moyu said, "Daozun level 1, not very strong." Ji Yu Qingshan was speechless for a while. To Lin Moyu, Daozun didn't seem impressive. For most people, Tianzun was already an unattainable existence, let alone Daozun. But from Lin Moyu's tone, Daozun level 1 seemed insignificant. The huge tree bodies had completely entered the Wrathful Thunder Array, unaware of its existence. Lin Moyu connected the new Lei Array with the origin spiritual vein, making it undetectable to ordinary people. A large number of runes suddenly appeared between heaven and earth, revealing the array in a dazzling display. In an instant, the Thunder Dragon flew out of the array. Dozens of Thunder Dragons flew wildly in the air, creating a spectacular sea of thunder. Thunder, hundreds of times more powerful than before, struck the two large trees of the Bayakao Alliance, causing bark to splash, branches to break, and a large amount of trunks to be charred. Chapter 2715, 2715. Chapter 2715. Don't refuse something that comes to your doorstep. Thunder engulfed the large trees, and the Thunder Formation group displayed amazing power, rendering the Daozun of the Bayakao Alliance unable to fight back. The two massive trees unleashed tremendous power, roaring wildly within the formation. Their roots penetrated the formation, attempting to destroy the formation base. If it were an ordinary 5th-level formation, it might indeed be destroyed by them. However, Lin Moyu's formation had surpassed the scope of a 5th-level formation and had formed a formation group, making it difficult to destroy. Their counterattack was doomed to fail. Two emerald green avenues emerged from their bodies, and the power of the avenue sprinkled a lot of vitality to repair their injuries. However, no matter how fast the power of the avenue repaired them, it couldn't keep up with the speed of the thunder. If it weren't for their nature as plant creatures with extremely strong vitality and recovery abilities, they would have been killed by the thunder formation long ago. Ji Yu Qingshan was surprised at the power of the formation. This was the powerful 657 formation Lin Moyu had mentioned. At the same time, she was a little worried. The information says that the Bayakao Alliance is extremely united. If you provoke one of them, you provoke all of them. Will it be dangerous for us to do this? Lin Moyu smiled and said, "Everything is dangerous in the origin continent, but some things cannot be avoided just because they are dangerous. Like now, if I let them go, it will be a real danger. Only by killing them can we prevent them from sending any information back." Ji Yu Qingshan nodded slightly. She naturally understood Lin Moyu's thoughts. Lin Moyu continued, "Compared to the big world, the origin continent truly follows the law of the jungle. Nothing can be taken lightly, just like these two guys. It seems they are about to be finished, but it is still a long time. Many people think that the Bayakao Alliance, being plant-based creatures, has no magic weapons. That's a big mistake. Many members of the Bayakao Alliance have a common feature: they possess a companion magic weapon. This magic weapon is born with them, shares their realm, and is extremely powerful. They usually don't use these magic weapons, preferring to nourish them instead. They will only use them when their lives are at stake. You'll see, after a while, when they feel desperate, they will naturally use their magic weapons. But I guess they will threaten us before that. Lin Moyu was very patient and explained to Ji Yu Qingshan. What he said was not in the information. Ji Yu Qingshan pricked up her ears and listened to every word, like a student listening attentively. Just as Lin Moyu said, after a while, a heavy voice came out of the formation. Even the boundless thunder could not block their voices. We are the Dao Zun of the Baikao Alliance. Killing us is equivalent to offending the entire alliance. If you stop now, we will retreat, and this matter will be considered as never happening. Ji Yu Qingshan asked, what should we do? Lin Moyu smiled and said, I will hand this place over to the human emperor to manage. Let the human emperor handle it. Trust him. As long as they came from the big world, they had great trust in the human emperor. If he could manage the entire big world in an orderly manner, then this matter was naturally no problem. Sure enough, the human emperor did not respond, but the power of the formation became even stronger. This was the response of the human emperor, and the killing intent was determined. The Dao Zun of the Baikao Alliance struggled and threatened again, but the result remained the same, and the human emperor ignored them. The injuries on the two large trees became more and more serious. Their entire bodies were scorched, and there was no intact skin left. Most of the vine branches were broken, and they were not far from death. At the last moment of life and death, they finally used their companion magic weapons. A ray of emerald green light swept out from the lightning, opening up like a curtain and creating a living space for them. The green light came from a green branch, different from ordinary branches, which came from inside their bodies. This was their companion magic weapon, also their life magic weapon, with extremely powerful power. After using the magic weapon, they got a chance to breathe. Lin Moyu explained, do you know? In fact, on the Origin continent, many people hunt members of the Baikao Alliance. These people are called Tianbao hunters. Tianbao refers to their companion magic weapons. These magic weapons are called Tianbao. Although they are not as good as real innate magic weapons, they are much stronger than refined magic weapons and are extremely valuable. So some people started hunting members of the Baikao Alliance to obtain their companion magic weapons. Ji Yu Qingshan asked, then should we also hunt their magic weapons? Lin Moyu chuckled, why not? If it comes to you, don't miss it. But in addition to Tianbao, there is something more important to me. Ji Yu Qingshan asked doubtfully, what? Lin Moyu smiled, you will know soon. Lin Moyu kept it a secret, but Ji Yu Qingshan didn't care. Anyway, she would know soon. She was cold-tempered and not so curious. There was no difference between knowing it earlier or later. The human emperor once again strengthened the power of the formation. In Lin Moyu's opinion, the power of the Thunder Formation group had been exerted by about 50%. 50% of the power was enough to deal with two guys in the first realm of Dao Zun. The range covered by the green light was being eroded by thunder and would soon become ineffective. Taking advantage of this time, the two large trees had recovered a lot. Plant creatures are unique in terms of recovery ability and have advantages that other creatures cannot match. But this alone cannot help them escape. At this time, another large tree used its companion magic weapon. Its companion magic weapon emerged from the tree body, appearing as a dark green small sword. Ji Yu Qingshan instinctively let out a low cry when she saw the small sword. This small sword made her feel uncomfortable. Just a glance at it made her feel that her soul was about to be corroded. Lin Moyu said, everything turns into its opposite when it reaches its limit. When vitality reaches its limit, it becomes a deadly poison. This sword is the same. When its vitality reaches its limit, it becomes a deadly poison that can corrode everything. This sword is very strong, but it is not enough to break my formation. Lin Moyu was very confident in his formation. It was not something that could be broken just by thinking about it. The dark green sword danced in the air, casting a large area of dark green light. The soul-shaking dark green color intertwined in the air into a dark green ocean, trying to corrode the formation. A large amount of thunder was corroded, and even the space began to distort. The formation was shaking and seemed about to collapse. But the formation did not really collapse and still persisted tenaciously. Ji Yu Qingshan had already seen clearly at this time that the two Dao Zun of the Baikao Alliance would definitely die today. Lin Moyu said, the human emperor has probably tested the power of the formation enough and should kill them. Ji Yu Qingshan's beautiful eyes widened, isn't this the full power of the formation? Lin Moyu said, of course, this is only half at most. If it weren't for the human emperor wanting to test the formation, they would have died long ago. Chapter 2716, 2716. Chapter 2716, How poor is your vision? Lin Moyu knew the human emperor too well. Not long after he finished speaking, the power of the formation suddenly increased. Before, it had only used 50% of its power, but now it had increased to 70%. The 20% increase may not seem like much, but for the two Daozun of the Baikao Alliance, it was a disaster. Thunder dragons flew out of the formation group roared, and the entire valley shook violently. The origin spirit vein became the foundation, protecting the entire city from collapsing. Thunder surged from all directions, wiping out the green and swallowing them. Kill us, and you will regret it. The Baikao Alliance will not let you go. I curse you, your soul will fall into hell and never be reborn. The last curse came from the thunder, and a ball of grey light suddenly appeared above Lin Moyu's head. The two Daozun of the Baikao Alliance cursed Lin Moyu at the moment of death. Lin Moyu said with some disdain, Hell doesn't dare to take me in. He pointed his finger, and the skeleton hell appeared silently, shrouding the grey light. The hellish evil spirits, covered in flames, took one bite after another and devoured the curse completely without leaving any trace. What does it mean to eat everything? Even if it is a curse, the hellish evil spirit will eat it. So far, no one has found anything that the hellish spirit cannot eat. Two extremely inconspicuous glimmers flew out silently in the thunder, passing through the formation and flying in different directions. The glimmers were so small that even the human emperor didn't notice them, let alone others. Only Lin Moyu sensed the existence of the glimmers and left his mark on them immediately. Let's go, I'll take you to find the treasure. Lin Moyu smiled slightly and flew away with Ji Yu Qingshan. Ji Yu Qingshan knew that what Lin Moyu was looking for was the thing he had mentioned before. She didn't see anything, but Lin Moyu said there was something, so there must be something. She just needed to follow. The two passed by the Sea of Thunder, which was gradually weakening and would soon disappear. Ji Yu Qingshan asked, how will the two pieces of heavenly treasure be dealt with? Lin Moyu said, the human emperor will handle it. They should be thrown into the warehouse and given out as prizes in the future. But not everyone can control the heavenly treasure, and the human emperor will naturally have corresponding judgment criteria. Lin Moyu had unconditional trust in the human emperor. Not only Lin Moyu, but everyone who came here felt the same way. The formation automatically activated, and the thunder divided a path. Lin Moyu took Ji Yu Qingshan out of the thunder and left the valley. The people in Yudao City watched this scene, speechless for a long time. The battle just now was truly too exciting. Every bit of leaked power was enough to kill them instantly. If this kind of power broke out in the big world, countless galaxies would be destroyed. Most of those who could come here were talented and directly recognized the Qing group. After the battle just now, all their little pride was wiped out. Everyone knew that the battle was deliberately arranged by the human emperor. The human emperor wanted to kill their arrogance and show them how terrifying the strong people in the origin continent were. Otherwise, the formation could have been fully activated from the beginning, and the two Daozun wouldn't have lasted long. Finally, someone came back to their senses and thought that in the whole battle just now, Lin Moyu and Ji Yu Qingshan were watching from a close distance, and they didn't look embarrassed at all. Ji Yu Qingshan couldn't possibly be so strong, which only meant that the person who brought Ji Yu Qingshan was extremely powerful. Who is that person? How can he be so strong? Everyone present was smart, and someone had already guessed Lin Moyu's identity. I guess it should be that person. You mean, the legendary person? Who else could it be besides him? Lin Moyu is a legend in the big world. He once easily killed the Supreme Being with his supreme body. He is undoubtedly a strong man in the big world. Although he did not appear again for many years, his story has been circulating in the big world. The human emperor even compiled Lin Moyu's deeds into a book and spread it in the big world. Lin Moyu's name has long been deeply rooted in people's hearts. Many practitioners often use that person instead of saying Lin Moyu's name. Lin Moyu didn't know that he had become the person in many people's mouths. When Lin Feng heard others talking about Lin Moyu's identity, jealousy surged in his heart. He stared at the figures of Lin Moyu and Ji Yu Qingshan leaving hand in hand, fists clenched tightly. Even if you were great in the past, that was only in the past. Now that we have all come to the origin continent, I will surpass you sooner or later and step on you. Ji Qingshan, I will let you know how good I am and how poor your vision is. Lin Feng was jealous in his heart, but he didn't show anything on the surface. Like everyone else, he only had shock in his eyes. After the battle, the voice of the human emperor sounded again in everyone's ears, arranging what everyone should do next. The human emperor had a detailed plan for this, and it only needed to be executed step by step. Outside the valley, Lin Moyu took Ji Qingshan to fly slowly, not in a hurry at all. Lin Moyu tracked his mark, not in a rush. Ji Qingshan was thinking about something in her heart, and doubts rose in her tone. I have a question, I don't know if I should ask it. Lin Moyu smiled, there is no need to be so formal between you and me. If you have anything, just ask. As long as I can tell you, I will tell you. Ji Qingshan asked, why did you send us out? We can't help you with anything. Lin Moyu smiled, I thought there was some profound question, but it turned out to be this. It's actually very simple, it's good for you and for me if you come out. Standing at different heights, the scenery you can see is naturally different. You feel that you can't help me because you are not standing high enough. Originally, you would understand this question naturally after you reach a certain level, but since you asked it now, I will tell you. The origin continent is different from the big world. In the origin continent, if you want to practice fast enough and reach a high enough level, you need two things. One is the power of origin, and the other is luck. There are two sources of the power of origin. One is the origin spirit vein, and the second is the two origins of the moon and the sun in the sky. The second is luck. In my opinion, luck is more important than the power of origin. The origin spirit vein can provide the power of origin and suppress luck at the same time. And everyone's luck can be gathered together under the effect of the origin spirit vein to form a stronger luck. The strong luck gathered together can be dispersed to everyone, so that everyone's luck will be strengthened again. This is a win-win situation. Everyone in the same force can benefit. There are many forces on the origin continent for the sake of the origin spirit vein and luck. Lin Moyu explained in detail the role of luck and the power of origin on the origin continent. Ji Qingshan is very smart. After listening to it, she already understood why Lin Moyu asked them to come out. Their luck can be gathered through the origin spirit vein, and then everyone's luck can be strengthened, including Lin Moyu. And as more people come out, the higher the realm, the stronger the luck will be. This is a good thing, a win-win situation for everyone. Lin Moyu suddenly stopped, it fell. Chapter 2717, 2717. Chapter 2717, The Secret Method of the 100 Herbs Alliance. The two had left the valley for tens of thousands of miles and stopped in front of an unfamiliar forest. Ji Qingshan could sense that many spirit beasts lived in this forest. Some of the spirit beasts were very powerful, which made her feel frightened. However, with Lin Moyu by her side, she felt at ease. When she first met Lin Moyu, he was still a little guy who was not even in the super god realm. Unexpectedly, he had grown to this point now. The space around Lin Moyu distorted, and the Taoist master of the Three Spirit sect, stepping on the wind, appeared beside him. The aura of the Fourth Realm Taoist master overflowed naturally, like a breeze blowing, causing all the trees in the forest to tremble slightly. Ji Qingshan clearly felt that the spirit beasts had quieted down. Not only the spirit beasts but even the forest was silent. The cause of all this was the mysterious person beside Lin Moyu. Lin Moyu whispered, "Don't let anyone disturb me." Taoist master stepping on the wind nodded and replied, "Yes, sir." He flew out, and the breeze drifted through the forest. The breath of the Dao Zun realm continued to spread, warning all spirit beasts not to make any movement. Ji Qingshan did not ask who he was. If Lin Moyu was willing to say, she did not need to ask. Lin Moyu's fingers moved like lightning, drawing complex runes one by one. The runes combined to form a rune array. The rune array did not look complicated but revealed an indescribable beauty. Lin Moyu explained, "This rune array is not very useful, just to prevent the other party from escaping. Although that thing is dead, it still has some instincts, and it is also troublesome if it escapes." After the rune array was drawn, Lin Moyu pressed it with one hand, and the rune array immediately flew downwards, covering an area. Then Lin Moyu pressed his palm lightly, and mud and rocks exploded in the center of the rune array. The ancient tree collapsed, and a large pit dozens of meters deep appeared on the mountain, but there was nothing inside. Lin Moyu shook his head lightly. It's hidden quite deep, but it's useless. Lin Moyu continued to press down, and the pit deepened to over 100 meters, but still, nothing was found. The mountain was old and solid, and the effect of Lin Moyu's palm was weakening. The later it was, the harder it was to punch through the mountain. Lin Moyu sighed. My realm is still too low. Everything on the origin continent is very solid. Any stone here can be taken to the real world and is an excellent material for refining weapons. It is so hard that it is frightening. It is not easy for Lin Moyu, who is only a mid-level Tianzun, to destroy the mountain. Origin technique. Gather power. A strange breath spread from his body. Lin Moyu used the origin technique, and his realm rapidly improved. Ji Yu Qingshan's beautiful eyes condensed slightly. This breath made her feel indescribably comfortable. This sense of comfort came from the soul, which cannot be described in words, and it goes deep into the bone marrow and is hard to forget. The power of the undead legion gathered on Lin Moyu. Lin Moyu quickly broke through to the high-level Tianzun and then rushed to the peak. With a slight sound, Lin Moyu's aura suddenly changed. He entered the Daozun realm. His realm stopped at the Daozun realm. Both his soul and body reached their limits at this moment and could not be improved any further. Without the Dao Immortal pill, it is really a lot worse. I will buy more when I have the chance in the future. It would be best if I could get the method of refining the Dao Immortal pill. I can refine it myself next time. Having experienced the magic of the Dao Immortal pill, Lin Moyu had already become fond of that feeling and could raise his combat experience unscrupulously. With the Dao Immortal pill, the full effect can be exerted only by gathering strength. Ji Yu Qingshan's beautiful eyes were brighter than the stars, and 2 blushes appeared on her cold face. Lin Moyu's magic exceeded her imagination. He became a Daozun just like that. Lin Moyu had reached a higher realm before and could perfectly master the power of the Daozun realm. He pressed down with one palm again. Boom! The mountain shook violently, and countless spirit beasts roared, expressing their dissatisfaction. But under the suppression of Daozun, these spirit beasts just barked, and none of them dared to take action. Even if there were 2 spirit beasts in the Daozun realm, they only showed their big heads and stared at Lin Moyu. Lin Moyu did not expand the range and remained in the same place, pressing down with several palms again. The pit became deeper and deeper, and it was more than 500 meters. In the dark pit, a faint light finally emerged. A faint green, with a faint vitality, emanated from the pit. Although this vitality was weak, it was full of tenacity and seemed indelible. Ji Yu Qingshan's breathing stagnated. This is the Daozun from the Baikao Alliance just now. Lin Moyu stretched out his hand and grabbed the glimmer of light directly in his hand. The glimmer of light rushed around in Lin Moyu's palm, but no matter how it struggled, it was useless. Be quiet. Lin Moyu clenched his fist lightly. With a bang, the light shattered, and it became completely quiet. Only then did Ji Yu Qingshan see clearly that there was a seed in Lin Moyu's palm. The seed was about the size of a fingernail, emitting a faint green and full of vitality. The seed was like jade, more beautiful than all the jades Ji Yu Qingshan had ever seen, almost perfect. Lin Moyu smiled and said, the Daozun of the Baikao Alliance all have a secret technique to save their lives. Before they die, they will leave behind seeds of life. The seeds of life can penetrate space, escape to a distant place, and then hide somewhere. Under the nourishment of the original power of the sun and the moon, the seeds of life will take root and sprout again. After several years, the Daozun will be reborn. Reborn, and retaining their previous memories, they are born with intelligence, and they practice very quickly without taking any detours. Ji Yu Qingshan exclaimed, it's so magical. Doesn't it mean that the Daozun of the Alliance is extremely difficult to really kill? Lin Moyu said, not only is it difficult to really kill them, but if no one kills them, they can be almost immortal. When their lifespan ends, they use this secret method to turn into seeds again, and they can live another life. Plant creatures originally have a long lifespan, at least double that of human Daozun. If they use this secret method again, they will never die. Ji Yu Qingshan exclaimed, although the Baikao Alliance is full of plant creatures, there are also racial differences. Why do they all have this secret method? Lin Moyu shook his head, I don't know either. It is said that there is a big secret involved. If you don't join the Baikao Alliance, other plant creatures will not be able to possess this secret method no matter what realm they reach. This secret method is called spiritual plant reincarnation, and only Dao Zun of the Bayakao Alliance can possess it. I think there must be a great secret in it, but outsiders cannot explore it. What Lin Moyu knows is that it was purchased from Lufeng Chamber of Commerce. Although Lufeng Chamber of Commerce is expensive, it is indeed very useful. Ji Yu Qingshan asked, then you brought their seeds, what's the use? Lin Moyu smiled and said, I don't know if it's useful, but I want to try it. Because of the existence of the secret method of reincarnation of spiritual plants, the Taoist master of the Bayakao Alliance seems to be dead, but he is not dead. This also makes the resurrection of the dead ineffective. Now that he has their seeds, Lin Moyu wants to see if he can use the resurrection. The immortal flame burned in his palm, enveloping the seeds. The seeds exuded a weak vitality, fighting against the immortal flame. The immortal flame quickly extinguished, and the method failed. Chapter 2718, 2718. Chapter 2718, My name is Qing Yuan 19. Lin Moyu was not disappointed. It was normal for the spell to fail. Success would have been abnormal. The seed in his hand still contained a lot of vitality. Strictly speaking, it was a living thing, so the resurrection of the dead would naturally fail. Another method before Lin Moyu was to find a way to wipe out the vitality in the seed and turn it into a dead thing. But in that case, the seed might be reduced to ashes and have nothing to rely on, making it impossible to use the resurrection of the dead. Or, I could put a soul mark on it, erase its memory, and cultivate it again as a spiritual pet. Lin Moyu mused, it's just that the cultivation cycle would be long, at least tens of thousands of years, and at most hundreds of thousands of years, which might not be worth it. As Lin Moyu pondered how to deal with the seed, Ji Yu Qingshan remained quiet, not disturbing him. Suddenly, Lin Moyu felt a gentle touch from the world tree's branch in his soul world. The world tree conveyed a will, seed, I will show. The world tree was like a child asking for food, repeatedly conveying the same will. Lin Moyu's heart moved, do you want to eat it? While speaking, the seed arrived in the soul world, and the world tree placed it on its leaves. Lin Moyu would not be stingy with the world tree. Not to mention a mere seed, even a whole spiritual vein would be given if needed. Currently, Lin Moyu had a third-level origin spiritual vein in his possession, but the world tree had declined it, expressing a preference for wreckage over a complete spiritual vein. Lin Moyu was helpless with this request. The small seed lay on the huge leaf, looking tiny. A soft light bloomed on the leaves, and the vitality in the seed was greatly enhanced. In just a few seconds, a tender shoot grew from the seed. The emerald green shoot was beautiful and exuded vitality. It grew rapidly, and in a blink of an eye, it had grown significantly, with its breath getting stronger. In less than a minute, the tender shoot grew new branches, and the branches multiplied. The first tender shoot became thicker, gradually turning into a trunk. Lin Moyu witnessed the growth process of a plant-based creature with his own eyes. Tens of millions of years of growth time were condensed into just a few minutes. When its height exceeded 10 meters, its aura had reached the super god realm. Then it continued to grow bigger and thicker, upgrading a realm every 10 meters. The upgrading process was amazingly fast and faced no obstacles. It had been in the Dao Zun realm before, and now it was just recovering its previous realm, so there were naturally no obstacles. When it reached the other shore realm, Lin Moyu suddenly felt a consciousness being born within it. Lin Moyu didn't know whether this consciousness was old or new, but the soul rose on the spot. The world tree made a rustling sound, and a voice came, it's okay, it listens to me. After feeling the consciousness of the world tree, Lin Moyu was relieved. Unexpectedly, the world tree actually had this ability, which was completely beyond expectations. Lin Moyu felt there were still many things he didn't know, but unfortunately, the world tree's current spiritual intelligence was not strong enough, making communication difficult. Perhaps one day in the future, when the world tree has complete spiritual intelligence, it will know all its abilities. Half an hour later, the seed had grown into a tree that was 1,000 meters tall. Although it was 1,000 meters tall, it was inconspicuous in front of the world tree. Any branch of the world tree that fell down was far better than it. Lin Moyu could feel that it had fully recovered and its realm had returned to its previous level. In the soul world, there was now a 1,000-meter tall tree at the Dao Zun realm. At this time, the world tree sent a consciousness, you can communicate with it. Lin Moyu was slightly stunned and asked tentatively, what's your name? The tree quickly responded, Great Lord, my name is Qing Yuan 19. Qingyuan 19, a very strange name. After its explanation, Lin Moyu learned that its race was called Qingyuan Giant Tree, and it was ranked 19th in the clan, hence the name Qingyuan 19. After experiencing rebirth, Qingyuan 19, although retaining complete memories, had actually changed its consciousness. Today's Qingyuan 19 was attached to the World Tree and recognized the World Tree as its master. As the owner of the World Tree, Lin Moyu naturally became its master. Whether it is a plant creature or a spirit beast, there is a common rule: the more powerful the existence, the more difficult it is to obtain spiritual wisdom. The difficulty for the World Tree to obtain full spiritual wisdom is much higher than that of other plant creatures. It is a bit contradictory that the spirit flower can open the spiritual wisdom for the undead army but cannot open the spiritual wisdom for itself. But the fact is that Lin Moyu is also helpless. Outside, Lin Moyu regained consciousness. As soon as he opened his eyes, Ji Qingshan couldn't wait to ask, "What's wrong?" Ji Qingshan looked anxious. Lin Moyu's consciousness had been in the soul world for nearly an hour, and Ji Qingshan could do nothing but worry. She didn't know what had happened and wanted to help but couldn't. Lin Moyu smiled and said, "Sorry to have kept you waiting. I'll show you something fun." He snapped his fingers, and the space twisted. The huge Qingyuan 19 suddenly appeared beside him. In an instant, the sky seemed to darken. 1,000-meter-high tree stood in front of him, with lush branches and leaves covering the sky and the sun, and there was no end in sight. Lin Moyu immediately said, "Smaller, don't be so big." Qingyuan 19 shrank quickly, and in the blink of an eye, it was only more than 3 meters high. Although it was still not small, it was at least acceptable. Qingyuan 19 exuded the aura of the Dao Zun realm, which made Ji Qingshan feel pressured. She trembled and asked, "Is it alive again?" Ji Qingshan could naturally recognize that Qingyuan 19 was the big tree from the Baikao alliance before, but she didn't expect it to be alive again now. Lin Moyu smiled and said, "It's called Qingyuan 19. I found a way to make it come back to life. Don't worry, it listens to me now, right, Qingyuan 19?" Qingyuan 19 immediately responded, "The master's order is everything." Lin Moyu waved his hand, "Collect your aura." Qingyuan 19's branches and leaves shrank, and the aura immediately gathered, making it look just like an ordinary big tree. Ji Qingshan felt much better immediately after the pressure was relieved. Ji Qingshan's eyes were wide open, full of surprise, and her cold face looked cute. She could never have imagined that Lin Moyu not only resurrected the other party but also made it his subordinate. There are so many magical things about Lin Moyu, and every point strongly attracted her. Lin Moyu asked, "Tell me about the reincarnation of spiritual plants. I am very curious." Qingyuan 19 said, "The reincarnation of spiritual plants is a secret method given to us by a great being. After we join the Baikao alliance, we can sacrifice our luck to obtain this secret method. With this secret method, our ability to survive is greatly improved, and we can be resurrected again when our lifespan ends." Lin Moyu said, "Such a powerful secret method, is there no limit?" Qingyuan 19 replied, "There are limits. The spirit plant can only be used 3 times, and each use will affect our foundation. If we want to reincarnate at the end of our lifespan, the best choice is to use it at the headquarters of the Baikao alliance. There is a piece of spirit soil there, and our seeds can speed up the recovery speed there, which can be about 100 times faster. 100 times the recovery speed, 100 years shortened to 1 year, the spirit soil is indeed magical. The spiritual plant reincarnation is also magical." Chapter 2719, 2719. Chapter 2719, It's not necessary to come, but you have to come. From Qingyuan 19's description, Lin Moyu learned some things about the reincarnation of spiritual plants and the Baikao alliance. The reincarnation of spiritual plants comes from a great existence, but Qingyuan 19 is not sure who it is. To obtain the reincarnation of spiritual plants, one must join the Baikao alliance, become a Dao Zun, and offer a part of their own luck. The amount of luck required is about 1/10, which is affordable for most Dao Zun. The conditions are not too harsh, and every Dao Zun in the Baikao alliance exchanges for the reincarnation of spiritual plants. This reincarnation is extremely tempting for plant creatures. As for the spiritual soil, Qingyuan 19 has never seen it. It should be said that no one has seen it except the leader. According to the rules of the Baikao alliance, after the seeds of the reincarnation of spiritual plants are used, Someone will send the seeds to the leader, who will then take them to the spiritual soil. However, no matter how strong the spiritual soil is, it only shortens the time by 100 times, which is far less effective than the world tree. According to Qing Yuan 19, if his seed entered the spiritual soil, it would take about 1,000 years to recover. But the world tree took less than an hour. There is a world of difference between 1,000 years and an hour. Qing Yuan 19, resurrected by the world tree, has an advantage far better than the resurrection of the dead. It has no time limit. As long as it is not killed again, it can continue to exist. Even if it is killed, as long as its seeds are still there, it can continue to revive. During the inquiry, Lin Moyu also learned a piece of crucial information. After using the spiritual plant reincarnation, the leader of the Baikao Alliance will sense it within about a day and then send people to collect the seeds and bring them back to the Spirit King. The leader can accurately lock the location of the seeds. If someone from the Baikao Alliance really comes, Yudao City may be exposed, which is not what Lin Moyu wants. Fortunately, only half a day has passed, and there is still time. As long as the seeds are obtained first, the next trouble can be avoided. Lin Moyu said to Qing Yuan 19, grow bigger. Yes, Qing Yuan 19 was extremely obedient and turned into a 1,000-meter-long giant tree again. This is its normal form. When fighting, its body can become 10,000 meters or even larger. Lin Moyu said to Ji Yu Qingshan, we are the real doctors. Lin Moyu randomly chose a large leaf and flew over, and Ji Yu Qingshan immediately followed. The leaves of Qing Yuan 19 are very large, each several meters wide, enough to accommodate 2 people. Lin Moyu waved his hand, let's go. He commanded Qing Yuan 19 to fly towards the location of another seed. As they left, Dao Zun Taifeng also disappeared. The soul beasts in this forest finally breathed a sigh of relief. The forest that had been suppressed for half a day gradually regained its vitality. On the leaves, the two sat side by side. Ji Yu Qingshan was a little excited and nervous but tried to appear calm. After all, she was only a supreme being, and using a Dao Zun as a mount was overwhelming. However, her tiny reactions could not be hidden from Lin Moyu. Lin Moyu smiled and said, don't be nervous, just be natural. Ji Yu Qingshan shook her head immediately, insisting she wasn't nervous. Lin Moyu smiled slightly and did not expose her. When the other big tree is resurrected, I will use them to guard the gate of Yudao City. Ji Yu Qingshan was startled and almost blurted out, you want to use Dao Zun to guard the gate? But she didn't say it because she realized that there seemed to be nothing wrong with it. The previous Dao Zun who stepped on the wind was commanded by Lin Moyu to do things. 2 Dao Zun in the same realm, and they are defeated. It is normal to use them as gatekeepers. Lin Moyu said, my Yudao City should have Dao Zun to support its appearance, right? It can't rely on one method. Ji Yu Qingshan heard the subtext, are you going to leave? Lin Moyu shook his head, I don't have this plan at the moment, but I have to leave. I said that part of the reason I established my power was to practice, and the closed-door practice method is not suitable for me. Ji Yu Qingshan was puzzled, why? Lin Moyu smiled and said, maybe it's fate. I was born to be busy. It was like this in the small world before, and it is still like this in the big world. Now it seems to be the same in the origin continent. You should know that when I entered the origin continent, I was in Nanzhou, but now we have arrived in Dongzhou. In the origin continent, there are not too many practitioners who cross the boundary sea and the continent. What's more? Ji Yu Qingshan asked, what's more? At this time, the world changed, and the origin of the sun and the origin of the moon completed the alternation. The temperature dropped rapidly, and the Taiyan talisman on Lin Moyu's forehead began to shine. Lin Moyu pointed at his forehead, did you see it? Ji Yu Qingshan nodded, yes, but what is it? Lin Moyu smiled and said, it's better not to tell you. You just need to know that with this thing, many people will want to catch me. If they can't catch me, they will think of killing me. Not only kill me but also kill my forces and destroy everything related to me. It is precisely because of this thing that I ran from Nanzhou to Dongzhou. Ji Yu Qingshan was shocked, what on earth is this? Lin Moyu smiled and shook his head, there are countless secrets in the origin continent, and some things cannot be said or mentioned. Maybe if you say a few words here today, somewhere, some powerful person can sense it through a secret method. But this thing is not without disadvantages. Everything has two sides. There are disadvantages and advantages. Ji Yu Qingshan did not continue to ask. From Lin Moyu's words, she realized the seriousness of the matter. After Lin Moyu came to the origin continent, it was not smooth sailing, but he experienced many dangers. He was hunted in Nanzhou, and then he tried to come to Dongzhou, find a suitable place, get the origin spiritual vein, build Yudao City, and send himself and his people out. It's easy to say, but only Lin Moyu knows the danger. Inexplicably, Ji Yu Qingshan felt sorry for Lin Moyu. Although Lin Moyu has strength far beyond his own, it was all exchanged for his life. Ji Yu Qingshan suddenly said, "It's good for us to stay in the big world. We don't have to come to the origin continent." Lin Moyu smiled and said, "It's not that I have to come, but I have to come." He looked at the sky, facing the origin of the moon, and looking at the infinite starry sky. The old man in the green robe appeared in his mind. Now that he thought about it, many things were pushed by this old guy behind his back. "Sooner or later, I will pull out all your beard." Lin Moyu once again cursed the other party viciously in his heart. Qing Yuan 19 finally arrived at the location of the seed. This time, Lin Moyu did not need to do it himself. Qing Yuan 19 twitched the vines and cracked the earth. Countless spirit beasts roared, and some spirit beasts in the realm of Dao Zun showed a powerful breath. Taoist Master of Wind responded, and a breeze blew, and everything was calm in an instant. The pressure of the fourth realm of Dao Zun, people are still not a problem. Soon, a seed was rolled up by the branch. Perhaps because of Qing Yuan 19, the seed did not resist at all. Suddenly, a ray of light shot from a distance, so fast that Lin Moyu did not react at all. Chapter 2720, 2720. Chapter 2720, Who Dares to Touch My Bird? A light passed under the origin of the moon like a meteor, moving so fast that it nearly broke through the space limit. Even with Lin Moyu's reaction speed, he couldn't keep up. Not only Lin Moyu, but Qing Yuan 19 also couldn't react in time. The light penetrated the branches of Qing Yuan 19 and flew away with the seed. By the time Lin Moyu realized what had happened, the light had already flown far away. Stepping on the wind, stop it! Lin Moyu commanded. The Taoist master of stepping on the wind responded immediately. He manipulated the great way of wind and accelerated to catch up. Lin Moyu tapped his fingers lightly, and a flash of red light appeared. Origin level magic. Time curse. Whether it would work or not, he had to try. The distance was too far, and even the skeleton hell needed time. Only the time curse could hit the opponent instantly. A charming red light appeared in the sky, and Lin Moyu seemed to hear a scream. The light, which had been moving away, suddenly paused and revealed its true form. It turned out to be it. Lin Moyu recognized its identity at a glance. It was called Guangya, a very special spirit beast. Guangya's strength was not impressive, it was considered weak in its realm. However, it had one significant advantage, its speed. Born with the avenue of speed, it could transform into light. Not only spirit beasts of the same realm but even those several realms higher might not match its speed. However, Guangya had a bad habit of snatching food from other spirit beasts, making it widely hated. Among human cultivators, Guangya was known as the treasure of speed. Its blood essence could be used to refine pills that temporarily increased speed to the limit. Its feathers could be used to craft flying magic weapons, enhancing their speed. Its skin and bones were excellent materials for comprehending the avenue of speed. However, the best use was to turn Guangya into a spiritual pet, allowing it to constantly demonstrate the great Tao of speed. For practitioners of the great Tao of speed, this was a supreme treasure. Unfortunately, Guangya was too fast and extremely rare, making it difficult to catch. Taking advantage of the time curse's influence, Daozhen Taifeng had already caught up. Guangya screamed and tried to flee, with Daozhen Taifeng chasing closely behind. He strictly followed Lin Moyu's orders and would not stop unless commanded otherwise. Lin Moyu said to Ji Yu Qingshan, "It seems you are very lucky to encounter Guangya." Ji Yu Qingshan looked confused, not knowing what Guangya meant. Lin Moyu knew that Ji Yu Qingshan had comprehended the great Tao of speed. For her, Guangya was the supreme treasure. Even a bunch of 8th level or 9th level origin crystals couldn't compare to a Guangya. At that moment, Lin Moyu decided to catch Guangya. Who let this Guangya steal his seed? It deserved to be caught. Qing Yuan 19 had already started chasing, but it wasn't fast enough. It would take time to catch up. Daozhen Taifeng rolled up countless strong winds, forming a storm and interfering with Guangya's actions. Although Guangya's speed was faster than Daozhen Taifeng's, it was affected by the storm. If not for Dao Zhen Taifeng's control over the Great Way of Wind, Guangya would have escaped long ago. The man and the bird kept chasing each other, flying farther and farther away. Qing Yuan 19 followed closely. Although not fast, it maintained a steady pace behind them. The storm intensified, and the wind avenue of Dao Zhen Taifeng controlled an area of 10,000 miles. Guangya was surrounded by the storm and couldn't escape, but it continued to struggle. Catching it wasn't easy, a single mistake could allow it to escape. In the fierce storm, Guangya's breath seemed to weaken, and its speed decreased. Lin Moyu carefully observed Guangya's movements and smiled. "Little thing, you're pretending to be weak. It's a bit too obvious. You want to use all your strength to escape at the last moment. If it were an ordinary Dao Zhen, they might be fooled. But Dao Zhen Taifeng is a resurrected person and won't be deceived." While Guangya was acting, Qing Yuan 19 brought Lin Moyu closer, reducing the distance to less than 1,000 miles. Without giving Guangya a chance to continue acting, Lin Moyu suddenly pointed his finger. The space twisted, and a light mist appeared out of thin air. Guangya made a sharp cry, sensing the danger, and turned into a beam of light, trying to escape. In front of it, a magma waterfall flowed, and Guangya screamed and changed direction. It didn't dare touch the magma waterfall, sensing the danger. The magma waterfall erupted, and countless flames fell like raindrops, scaring Guangya into screaming and jumping around. The eye of hell opened, and the soul impact was pervasive. Guangya, only at the high-level Tianzun realm, screamed continuously, and its soul went blank, causing its small body to fall from the air. If Lin Moyu hadn't shown mercy, the eye of hell could have killed it with a single sweep. Guangya fell to the ground, surrounded by hellish evil spirits, leaving it nowhere to escape. It trembled on the ground, knowing that any of the flame-covered spirits could take its life. Lin Moyu approached with a smile. "You are quite bold, daring to steal my things. Spit it out." Guangya spat out the seed, which was intact. It was exhausted and hadn't had time to digest it. Moreover, such seeds were not easy to digest. After spitting out the seed, Guangya suddenly said, "I returned your things. Can you let me go?" Lin Moyu was a little surprised. It's rare for it to have opened its spiritual intelligence. Guangya wasn't strong but was special, making it more likely to gain spiritual intelligence. Lin Moyu said, "In that case, we can communicate well. I won't kill you, but..." Before he finished speaking, Guangya shouted, "Bullshit. You want me to be your pet? No way." Lin Moyu said, "Not my pet, but hers." Guangya saw Jiyu Qingshan and said, "You want me to be a supreme's pet? Dream on. I'll eat her first." Lin Moyu shrugged, "Then there's no other way. It seems I'll have to erase your intelligence. What a pity." Guangya trembled and screamed even louder, "If you dare to do that, my boss won't let you go." Lin Moyu smiled, "You have a boss. Where is your boss? I'd like to meet him." Guangya shouted, "Not everyone can see my boss. You're asking for trouble." It suddenly shut up as if realizing something. Dao Zhen Taifeng seemed ready to act. Guangya hesitated and then spat out a bead, which shot into the sky and exploded. It shouted, "My boss is coming soon. You're in trouble." This sentence sounded familiar, much like the tone of a child. A few seconds later, a terrifying aura rolled in from a distance. "Who dares to touch my bird?"